Welcome, you guys, to the From the Male Perspective panel for the Woman2Woman Conference 2022. These are our guests. We have one that is running late. Brother Bo is running late. Haven't heard from him yet, but I'm sure he's en route. We have Bishop Anthony Gaffney from Chicago. We have Big Dan and Pastor Carlos here. From Continual Outpouring International Ministries. Want to jump right in because we have several things that we need to discuss. Pardon my hoarseness. Lost my voice preaching during this conference. I lost it before then. But it was a good cause. God has moved all week. But when we do conferences, I always want to do something that I don't see done often in women's conferences. I want to give the women a chance to get the male's perspective on females. Because I've studied a lot of men, I've interviewed a lot of men, and I do a decent job of sharing a male's perspective with females in terms that most of them can relate to. But there's nothing like hearing it directly from the horse's mouth. And so without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and get started. We have a few questions. The first thing we wanted to discuss was the pros and cons of dating single mothers. And so those of you who are not married, but you have kids from a previous marriage or relationship, I want you to perk up your ears so that you can hear from these men what they're thinking when they see you or when they engage you, so that you can understand what you're sort of up against or what the expectations are. And so I'll start with you, obviously, Bishop Gaffney, because you are a well of information and you're very transparent when it comes to communicating with ladies. Oh, he doesn't patty cake it and just cater to your emotions and make you feel good about it. No, if you need to get something together or if something is unattractive or uninviting, he will very gracefully let you know that you look like a ragamuffin. So go ahead, Bishop, and share, please.
Amen. Yeah. One of the things that I was looking at, dealing with the pros first about dating a single mother is, first of all, when I think about her, I think about a person who's independent, meaning that she know how to be a provider in the house, because she has been doing it for such a long time. Another thing I think about is that she's mature. And one thing about it is that when you're having kids or when you have birthed a kid will force you to grow up. You have no other choice because their lives is in your hand. And you not only have to answer to them, but you have to answer to God. And you have to grow up even when you don't want to, because you have a soul that you have to rear. Their lives is in your hand. And if you fail, it ain't nobody else's fault but your own.
That's right.
And so that's another thing, is that a single mom who has kids, she has to mature. Single moms know what they want. They know what game is, and they don't want to deal with game. Game recognized game. They're sick of games because something happened to the last relationship or the last joker that left or whatever situation happened. So they are very keen on what game looks like, and they're not putting up with game. Another thing I think about is that they tend to be serious about a relationship. In other words, they don't want just a booty call. Come on, somebody up in here. They want not a casual relationship or a fly-by-night, hit it and quit it. No, they're in it for the long haul. because they know that, hey, I have children, and I can't just bring a booty call around my children. Come on, somebody. I need to bring a real person, a real father figure around my children. And so they know that another thing, that they are very selective in even their choices. They are selected in who they choosing to bring in the presence of their children. You know, I don't want to bring a hood rat home. Wow. Come on, somebody over here. Because I don't want my children to take on the attitudes of the hood or the hood rat. I'm not saying that the hood is no good, but there are certain attributes from the hood. You know, like there's a book somebody written, Nothing Good Come From the Hood. You know, and so they're very selective in who they bring home. Next is a con. Real men don't want to deal with baby mama drama. That's the one thing that will run a man off. If I have to fight with your baby dad because you haven't killed some issues between you two, I don't want to come in and have to squash and have to be, the middleman, taking on a battle that, guess what, I'm not ready to take on. I got my own issues. I got my own fight. And I don't want to deal with your drama, your baby daddy drama. Amen. Another thing that I was thinking about is that a con is that, what if the kid does not like you? Because you got certain kids, if you're not my daddy, you can't tell me nothing. I don't want to have nothing to do with you. And some kids want their mama and daddy back together. And so if they want them back together, to what extent will they go to sabotage the relationship? And that's what you got to think about. What extent will that kid go to sabotage that relationship? That's right. And the last con I want to bring up is that you got to understand, as the man who's coming into the situation, that you are not the top priority. The children are the top priority. That's right. It may be the family that's the top priority. And you, as a man, have to be patient until you kind of start moving up. Because some situation, their friend is a top priority. So you have to wait your turn. And a lot of men have to understand that. You have to be very patient. Wait your turn, and maybe you'll begin to move up the list. Come on now. Good. Patience is everything. Patience is everything. You got to understand that. Patience is everything.
I concur with everything he said. Everything. I want to address a couple of points that he brought up. First point I want to address was all of his pros. The biggest positive about a man dating a woman that already has a child is that I can assess who you're going to be to me by how you deal with your children. Come on now. That's good. I can easily assess if I'm going to be well taken care of by looking at how you take care of you and your kids. Yeah. If you look rough, I know you're not going to take care of me. If they look like they haven't eaten weeks, I know it looks like I'm not going to eat in weeks either. If they look as if they just got out of a fight, I know there's going to be some drama somewhere in this relationship. If the kids back talk, I know I can't tolerate that. So let me not get into that. I don't want any positive or any type of interaction with that. I might make an exception if I believe that the child might be moldable or pliable, but I'm not gonna involve when the back talk is blatant. When it's just downright blatantly disrespectful. And so certain things that a man will look into the relationship that a woman has with her children and make him say, if she deals with them that way, she's gonna deal with me that way. And so that's one of the for me, that's the biggest positive about dating a woman who already has kids. I already know what kind of life I'm gonna live when I hook up with her. I already know what type of relationship we're gonna have. I already can make an assessment right up from the giddy up if you're going to be a positive or a negative part of my life, just by looking at your interaction. Now, the a point he made about one of the cons was about kids liking you. One of the things I think we as men or mothers make the mistake of, especially when it comes to a fresh relationship, is trying to force the child to view the man other than what he really is.
Come on now.
I know early on in our relationship, when we first got together, Lynn was like, we gonna get married, and this, that, and the other, you need to start calling him dad. And I said, oh, no, stop right there. I'm not gonna do that, not to her. I haven't earned that spot yet. I told Lynn, I said, look, I haven't been in a life like that to be called dad. I haven't had any influence or in the younger years of her life, so I'm not going to force her to look at me in a way I haven't earned yet.
Yeah.
I haven't earned that. I have to earn that place in her life, and so she went about 8 or 9, maybe 10 years, called me Mr. Carlos, and I was cool with it. 4 years. It was a long time.
Yeah.
But I was cool with it. I wanted her to feel comfortable in knowing that she could look at me as a father figure. And the day that she said, Dad, that's my dad, I knew she made that transition. You know, I role, but I didn't force her to give me the title. I knew that's a title I had to earn. And so many women make that mistake in trying to make the man be a dad, and when he hasn't even earned that right yet. The biggest thing, the other thing too is, one thing I have to commend Lynn on, even though I made Lynn not force her to call me dad, she ensured that she respected me as a part of the life. So she had to create that healthy balance. There has to be a healthy balance. There has to be a level of respect, because even though I'm not her father, there still has to be some type of parental respect that has to maintain. And one of the things that I'm so glad Lynn didn't do was she didn't try to make me force that on the child. She made that a requirement. Okay, if he's going to be Mr. Carlos, you need to respect him in a manner that he doesn't feel disrespected. And so one of the things I can say about that whole item is, I can say Alina has never disrespected me. Even though we've had our contentions, we had issues, but she's never disrespected me. And the reason why that was because her mom made sure that there wasn't gonna be no level of disrespect. I didn't have to force that. I didn't have to say nothing about that. She was proactive in making sure, okay, he may not be your daddy, but you gonna respect him.
Well, I went a step further. Before I ever met him, she and I were praying together, and I was preparing her, letting her know what our lives are gonna look like when God does send my next husband. He's going to have different rules. He's going to have different habits and guidelines. And we all, everybody in the house has to be subject to his authority. And so I sort of tried to breach that gap early on. And so that it would not be a rough transition.
She did an excellent job too.
Praise God.
She did it, because I'm serious. I came in her life when she was a teenager, what, 15, 16?
Oh, wow.
17. Wow. I came in her life as an older teenager. And the entire time, from the time I came in to now, never have been disrespected. Never. Never. Had some disagreements, had some arguments, but never have been disrespected. That is I can only attest that to what she did as a mom prior to me coming on the picture.
I want to just say to you guys, if you're releasing your faith for marriage and you want to be chosen, it is very important. I wanted to let you guys know, Trevor just called me. He's in Killeen. Something happened with his grandson, and he apologized because he's a couple hours away. And I was like, we'll be done, or at least wrapping up by the time you get here. You know, do what you have to do. I appreciate the accountability, but there's never a shortage of wisdom and impartation in this house. God has put adequate vessels here to answer any questions, so we can scoot around a little bit. That's why I keep itching. Part of this, I want to be closer to you, and part of this, now I can turn around. Daddy, so push that chair back so we can go over. We're making some adjustments, you guys. But, okay. All right. So here we are. It can stay. Okay, yeah, I don't mind. And so, guys, to those of you who are releasing your faith for husbands, nobody told me to do this. I didn't read it in a book. I was just praying for wisdom in the ministry of marriage. When you have experienced a failed marriage, wisdom says learn what you could have done differently. What we tend to do is focus on what they did wrong, but that doesn't really help us. What helps us is when we focus on self-correcting and self-regulation, when we then make adjustments. I'm a very strong-willed individual, and I was totally misindependent. I didn't think I needed a man for anything except sex, and I was wrong. I needed structure, I needed balance, I needed guidance, I needed leadership, I needed companionship. But when you make money and you have influence, it's hard to see the need for those things, because I was accustomed. I had a lot of people working for me when he met me. As a matter of fact, he became one of them. And so when you're used to people doing what you tell them to do in the corporate world and in your personal life, submitting to someone else's authority can be a challenge. And so I wanted you guys to hear what the men had to say concerning that, specifically regarding children. That baby daddy drama crap is real. And you know, it's a common thread, a recurring thing when I interview these men. When the kid says, "You ain't my daddy," we'll take off those sneakers I bought. Don't sleep in that bed I bought. Don't take a bath with the water that I'm paying. Don't pick up a food.
Can I say something to
that?
No. Usually, the reason why the "you ain't my daddy" comment comes out of the child's mouth is because she's seen mom disrespect the man. And so the mom, in a way that the child feels okay. You know, the man is probably walking into a relationship where the mom is in that mode of, you can't say anything to my kids. You can't get on my kids for nothing. And so now the child sees that interaction and says, oh, it is like that. Okay, so the minute I say something, it's going to be a problem. Okay, and so what again is that maintaining that level or setting that setting the precedence of respect for this man's role in the house. Again, fella, men, we cannot say or force our role as a leader in the house. That's something, especially when you're already in an already made up situation. But in the same breath, if the mom says, "Okay, listen, I understand he ain't your father, but you're not going to disrespect him like that. If he tells you to do something, I need you to do it. I don't need you to create problems in this home unnecessarily." Because we're growing together. But see, oftentimes in those situations, mom doesn't say nothing. Or mom just let that slide. Or mom already in a place of disrespect. And so now he's got to deal not only with disrespect from the child, but now he's got to deal with disrespect from you too. And so in his mind, he starts looking elsewhere. Because now he's saying to himself, this ain't worth it. This ain't worth it for me. I love you. You seem like you're going to be a good woman for somebody. It just ain't going to be for me. So while I'm stabilized here, I'm looking elsewhere. I'm going to tell you right now, men are like what we used to do back in the day when we wanted to leave a job. We didn't just quit a job. We went and got another job while we still at this current job because we didn't want no break in our income.
That's right. That's right.
Another thing that we wanted to discuss today was the power of femininity. Y'all know I minister always from a place of reference, from personal experiences or information I've gathered by way of experiences of others. And I want you guys to understand, people always admire marriage. We've been together 20 years, been married for 18, and people always say, "Oh, I want a marriage like you guys." Okay, do you really? It is great, but there is so much maintenance. Our marriage requires a lot of maintenance on both ends. It's just a different type of maintenance. And so being married, I always say, is much like having I'm always saying, I just recently started saying, having a very active puppy dog. It requires a lot of attention, and that attention is ongoing. And so you expect the puppy to behave when you have company, but the truth is, without thorough, extensive training, that's never going to happen. So he's always training me, and I'm always training him. And for those, I've heard women say, I'm training, I'm not a dog. It's just a metaphor. You're also not happily married because you're not open to hear from the person who has what you say you want. Yeah. It would be like me telling Bill Gates how to manage money. Yeah. It's not. Wisdom says I should be listening to what he has to say in that setting because he has what I want. So now, when it comes to the power of femininity, like y'all know, my voice is raspy even when I'm not hoarse, and I have a lot of masculine energy. So I've had to work very hard to femininize myself because I didn't wear makeup, I didn't wear heels, I didn't wear the fake nails, and I didn't do anything that was feminine. And when I talked, it was like, in what? And it was this, and it was rah. I had guns, and and all of this because I was used to fending for myself. The power of femininity is showing a man that he can be a man, and you know your role and your place. And yes, the Bible does have a role and a specific place for us as women in 1 Peter chapter 3. And so, gentlemen, if you don't mind, I don't care who goes first, speaking to the benefits of a feminine woman and the disadvantages to a woman who has too much masculine energy. Would you look at that?
One thing about the power of femininity is it's beautiful if you allow the power to work.
Amen.
That's good. That's good.
Just because you have it don't mean it's working. And when me and my wife first got together,
Don't be telling my business.
yes, I'm gonna tell you. She had the power, but she didn't let it work to its full. She could nurture, and she could do certain things, but because of past situations, a past relationship, it shut that power down. It shut that nurturing and the beautiness down. Women, you could be affected and infected at the same time. And if you ever been infected by a joker, it limits the power of femininity. Instead of becoming a nurturer or a feminine, it forces that masculinity in you. It says, hey, I'm a warrior. I'm this next joker that come in my life, I'm gonna show him that I can roar. I can, I trade in this nurturing for warfare. And so what this man needs, he can't get for a season. He has to come in and he has to fight a man that's inside the woman.
Wow.
He says, until you come in and bind a strong man.
That's good.
And it's bad. It's a tough situation when you got to come in and bind a strong man in a woman. Let me help you up with here. It's real tough because you're like, hey, am I with Sheila or Sam?
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? You got the body, you got the looks of Sheila, but you letting Sam come out.
The looks of Sheila.
Until we bind Sam, then Sheila can give me what I need, come out. The power is there. One thing I learned about the power of femininity is like synergy. Kind of reminds me of water to a plant or water to a flower. What water does to a flower is what a woman does to a man. When the water is in a plant or on a flower, it causes it to grow. When a woman touches a man, help me up now with that, it causes what's grow. Let me stop right there.
I think you should keep going.
Listen.
Just keep good over here.
All right. You go bad there, boy. You go bad there, boy. Listen, I'm just gonna keep it 100. The ugliest thing that in the world is to have a pretty woman open her mouth and sound like the roughest brother in the planet. That is the saddest thing in the world. She opened her mouth and she tougher than me.
Wow.
Oh my God.
She opened her mouth and she's got more sack than I do. She opened her mouth and she can go ham worse than the brothers in the street. We talk as more vulgar than some of the brothers in the street. And it's like, come on, man. I mean, and you want me to date you? Really? You want me to look your way? Like, for real? Like, huh? What?
My
Where's
voice is deep and raspy, though.
No. Don't do that to yourself. I love you. Don't do that to yourself. Her voice is not deep and raspy. She think that way. No, you good. You good. Stay right where you are. Don't let that in your mind. Jesus. All right. I mean, it's you coming on the scene and they feel like they can outdo you as a man. And it comes out in certain ways and statements and phrases, especially when you get angry. especially when you get angry. You say stuff like, I can do bad all by myself. You say stuff like, if I don't need a man, I don't need you. Stuff like that. You're cursing yourself when you say stuff like that. Did y'all know that? Did you know that you are cursing yourself with permanent celibacy when you say stuff like that?
Permanent celibacy. My goodness.
That's good.
Do y'all know that?
You and your side.
You are speaking a curse on you by making those statements, because in the ears of a man, in the mind of a man, I have no place in your life. I have no place in your life when you make statements like that. In the mind of a man, I have no purpose being with you. When a man gets with a woman, he's trying to find his place. He's trying to find his purpose in your life. It ain't just what you can do for him. He's also thinking about what he can do for you and with you. And if you come across like the man and the woman, what do I need? What do you need me for? Where's my place in your life? I mean, if you got it, okay, there it is. Take it. Wow, if you got it, you that bad, what am I supposed to? And then I'm not a man because I ain't cutting the grass. Well, you said you got it.
Right.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm not a man because I ain't take out the trash. Well, you said you had it. You said you didn't need me. What? I'm just here. I'm just a placeholder now.
Yeah.
I'm just holding the place. So why should I get up and do something when you said you had it? You didn't need me for it. You didn't need my participation. You didn't need my input, my insight. You didn't need my strength. So why should I waste all of that on you when you said you already got it?
That's good.
That's good.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Since you got to go for it. You more of a man than me? All right, bro. Do it, bro. Since you that, handle it. You ain't fighting with me. You ain't in my back. Oh, of course. You out there fighting for yourself. You fighting the battle. Why should I get involved? You got it.
That literally happened in our marriage.
Yeah.
It literally happened. I was, if a man was beating a woman up, I wouldn't wait for him to go intervene. I would always go and disarm the man. And he said, you gotta stop and he had taught me how to take down a 6'2", 300-pound man.
But every situation,
And he said, right.
every situation ain't require your involvement.
Right? And I didn't know how to. I was like, you're a man, you should have jumped in and you should have had my back. And he was like, why would I do that? You got it. You didn't consult with me before you ran over there and jumped the dude that had the gun. You know?
If you would have stopped for a moment and assessed the situation, you would realize that she's the real reason why he bopped her upside the head. She the one coming at him with the knife. She's the one pointing the gun at him. She was the one doing all of this. She's the one that tried to run him over with a car.
Right.
So
And I had to
why
learn.
step back and assess the situation before you get involved?
And the other thing, I did cry to him and say, I feel like you don't fight for me. I feel like you don't protect me anymore. And he said, I don't get a chance to. Because you fight every battle.
And here's the thing I had to tell him too. I said, look, if I fight the battle, I ain't going to fight it the way you want me to fight it. So don't expect me to fight it the way you want me to fight it. Period.
And the other thing he told me was, you don't put your weapon down. This was what birthed deliverance in my life. You have a protector now. You don't have to fend for yourself anymore. Put down your weapons and trust that God has equipped me to protect us. And for those of you, I'm just talking to the independent women and the free thinkers and the rah. It is a challenging thing to do, but it's so peaceful now. I don't have to worry when something comes up, babe, you know, so, I'll take care of it. He's got it. It feels good to have somebody that got me, and I know he's got me. Does it make sense?
The other thing too is men don't have a problem with a woman's independence. But women got to learn how to be dependent while being independent.
That's good.
We got with you because you were independent. Duh. So the problem, you got a problem with it? I'm just an independent woman. That's not the problem. I knew that when I got with you. I knew that's what I was getting when I hooked up with you. My problem is when it's time for you to be dependent, you don't know how to back up. Back up. Let me help you. This is teamwork, man. We on the same team. I want the same results. Back up and let me have my place.
Another one of the questions or topics that was referenced, unless Bishop, did you have more you want to add to that?
Let me hit you with this.
It's my
Your masculinity will castrate your man, meaning cut off his testicles. If he having a fight with you, and it may be because of where you came from or what you've seen, if your mama was masculine towards your dad, or if somebody you saw was masculine, or you developed that after that last relationship, it will cause, watch this, his feminine side to show. Because your masculine side is taking over. So it forces him to sit down. Men go stand up, but your masculine will cause him to sit down. And he will become feminine side. That will become his feminine side. Because he do know, because if he was raised by his mama, he know how to be feminine. He know how to be nurturing. He know how to be gentle and kind and humble and all of that. But he is a warrior. He says, I'm not going to fight the world and come home and fight you too.
Come on now.
When I come home, I want to rest, not war. And so guess what? Instead of my masculinity having a war with your masculinity, I'm going to sit down and let you have it. And you're saying, oh, you're being silent, you're being quiet. No, baby, I know how to pick my battles. If you want to be Xena, the war princess, or whatever you want to call it, have your way. You know, Shira and all them people. But the thing is that we have to understand, as women, you were built as a female. You was built as a female. You know how to be a female. You know how to be loving. You know how to be nurturing.
Yes, sir.
But let him be him.
We know you're strong. We already know you're strong. Anybody that can lay on a bed and push out a big head is strong. You got a level of strength that we will never have. But there's something about us that you will never have. And when God brings those two together, it's supposed to be a collusion, a coordination of things, as John Witherspoon used to say. We're coordinating our abilities and our resources and our knowledges and information together to build a relationship that God can be proud of. So let us coordinate. Not you command.
That's good. So what happens when the woman is too damaged to be loved? What happens?
Well, as a man, we have to make an assessment. I like to assess things. I like to really assess things. And as a man, sometimes you gotta ask yourself, this is how men do. We gotta ask ourselves, is this worth my time, energy, effort, resource? If you're so damaged to the point that the man start having to ask that question, you're in trouble. Because men are generally fixers by nature. We want to help you. We want to help you overcome. So if a man who's already natured to fix an issue, notice those women who are married or have been married or are in relationships, you come on the scene, you crying something, what is the first thing a man say? What's wrong? Second, then you tell him what's the second thing he says? What do I need to do about it? What do I have to do to fix this? That's our nature. We want to fix it. Okay? But if you're so damaged to the point that a man has to say, is this worth my time, resource, energy, and effort? That what he's really saying is you're unfixable.
Wow.
You're unfixable, or I don't have the capacity to help fix you. So what he's going to do is he's going to find ways to back out the situation. And in subtle ways. It's going to be real subtle. It's going to be real subtle. I remember an incident with one of Lynn's friends. The brother was in that mode and she didn't realize it. And so Lynn came home after hanging with her friend, and Lynn was like, "Babe, so-and-so, such and such, they run an insurance scam trying to run their car in the Tampa Bay, roll their car to Tampa Bay, this, that, and the other." I said, "Really?" He was like, "Yeah." I said, "That new 2000 car that they bought off the lot with 10 miles on it?" She was like, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, he get ready to leave her." She was like, "What?" I'm like, "Is her name on that car?" He was like, "Yeah." "Oh, he get ready to leave her." She was like, "What? What do you mean?" I said,
he just bought her that
$50,000
car.
I said, he's trying to get rid of everything that possibly has his name attached to her name with it. He finna bounce. She's like, "How do you come up with that conclusion?" I'm like, I said, think about it. Just come think about it from a man's perspective. He just bought this big body SUV, brand new, fresh off the lot. All the trims and all the,
they first came out
with all the rims and the trims and the systems,
it was fully loaded.
all the power system. You think a man just gonna run that into the water for no reason?
Okay, well, here was my reasoning, guys, because he was getting her a 4-bedroom house built. They were already in that process, and she and our husbands had given us money to go on a 6-day shoe shopping excursion. So we lived in Florida, but I would fly here twice a year because I know where to get the hookup on the shoes. And back then, I could use my reseller certificate and buy the shoes for $5 a pair. So you'd have to buy 100 pairs. So she'd buy 50, I'd buy 50. We paid the shipping, ship the shoes home. So we'd been here for 6 days shopping and hanging out on a girls' trip. So if your husband's building a house and he buys you a new car and everything's, I have, my perfume is $150, $200 a bottle. Her perfume, she was having the $500 bottle perfume and, and all of that stuff. So of course I'm thinking, this man really loves her. He's a great provider. He had her kids on his insurance. And so my husband said, "Lynn, he's getting ready to leave her. You need to let her know." And I said, no way.
He's gonna bounce.
He says he's going to do this, he's going to do this, next,
start laying out that step by step.
And step by step, those things surely started happening. And it was a gradual process. But when I saw the third sign that he had told me, because the first two, I didn't believe it. I was like, oh. But the third time, I was like, oh my gosh, he's right. Let me warn my friend. Because they had like maybe $60,000 worth of credit cards and all this other stuff. And she was debt heavy. Because maybe all the cards that had just her name, about $50,000 of that debt was there, and maybe $10,000 of it was shared. And I said to her, "Listen, stop blowing money like water. You gotta, get rid of this credit card debt. He's, getting ready to leave you. You gotta have a plan for you and your kids. I had maybe 15,000 in the bank, and I said, that's not a lot of money. You gotta make a plan. And she was like, oh no, you're speaking a curse on my marriage. And there was turbulence in the friendship because I tried to warn my friend, ladies, please listen. If a man who has nothing invested is telling you this is what it is, this is what it is. And so she came back to me after because he cheated with her sister, and then he cheated with the lady that did the hair, and ended up leaving her for the woman who was the hairdresser, and all of this, and left her broke and penniless with nothing because she didn't work a job. He provided everything. And so he's fine. I understand now, so he's fine. And so for those who may be disturbed, he is autistic. And so I want you guys to understand, it's okay. And so we're going through the back and forth, and she comes back and she says, after she cursed me out and after she did some horrible things to try to sabotage my influence, I need you. What do I do here? Can you help us? Now, I don't have any ugly friends. She's a very beautiful woman. I let her come into my house. What? I don't have ugly friends. Like, if you ugly, I can't be your friend. I can pray for you. We can be associates. No, seriously. So imagine this very attractive woman. I look okay, but she was much more attractive than me. I let her come into my house to try to be there for my friend, try to minister and add strength to my friend. But we started getting into it after that because I said to her, now that he's moved in with this woman, he's going to remove you and your kids from the medical. He's going, she was still going, spending $1,500 on this and that and the other. Come on, friend, let's go. No, your life has been drastically altered. And as much as I love you, you can't hang out here long term. I'm not stupid.
Come on now.
And so we gotta get a game plan and a strategy together to ramp you up for success. And as a result of me saying, you're gonna have to get a job, friend. You ain't got no job. Well, I got a man that pay my bills. Stupid stuff. Like the quality of you expect the quality of my life to change, and the quality of your life hasn't changed. My circumstances haven't changed. But if Brother Man rolled out, I ain't got no problem. I would never work another traditional job, but I would just ramp back up all the wives that I fired and cut from my coaching program. I call, hey, listen, I need, you ready? You still need me? Y'all got what I'm saying to you?
And I don't say it to try to embarrass. My daughters know. They know. I'm gonna tell the game. I'm a snitch. I'm gonna tell them. I'm gonna tell what it is. If you really want to know what it's about, I'm gonna tell you. If you really want to know what's going on, I'm gonna tell you. If you don't ask me if you don't want to know what's going on. And so when I tell women to say, hey, look, when a man gets to that place where he starts assessing whether you're worth it or not, you're doing too much. Back up. You may need to seek some counseling. You may need to, really consider seeking counseling. Because men don't want, listen, men are not, when they get into a relationship, men are looking for the mother of their children. Men are looking for that woman who's going to help their legacy. They're not looking for women to just be a jump on. Now, I said men. Notice what I said. Men. Not little boys, not these little punks out here on the street doing anything. I'm talking about men. Real men. And let me help some of you ladies. So they're out there. They are out there. Statistics show that 80% of men, especially black men, make $50,000 a year, are single, and are looking for women to build a relationship with.
It was already broke.
They're single, they're looking for relationships. They're out there. The problem is They're looking for stable women to have a relationship with.
The word stable.
You ain't gotta be perfect, but you gotta be stable.
Okay, I wanted to go back to my friend, my former friend, because as a result of this traumatic relationship, she went on this tangent because she's beautiful, and she had all these wealthy, virile men pursuing her, sort of. I don't want to say became a gold digger, but she didn't mess with no broke people. And so, and then because she realized there was no substance and they were just sexualizing her, she got disgusted with that process, fell away from God, from the church, walked away from her ministry assignment, and now she is a lesbian in a full-blown relationship. She's a femme in a full-blown relationship, and I know in the church they don't really always understand the nature of the bi, the gay, and the poly relationships, but there's a way that they self-medicate and they cope with that because a woman knows what a woman wants and a woman knows what triggers another woman, and so they bypass the perversion, they bypass the scriptures that say, in hell you will lift up your eyes, and they bypass all of that for that immediate short-term comfort. And so I want you guys to understand that it could be you. This girl was full of the Holy Ghost, super anointed when we were friends, and for her to just completely change over and become a public feminine lesbian. Her daughters have done the same thing, and one of them came back, but one of them did not. And so I don't want that for you. We talked this morning about PTSD and how post-traumatic stress disorder can have a long-term impact on us women and men too, but we tend to take it longer, especially those that have been in the military. We don't realize that you don't have to go to that type of war to suffer with PTSD.
That's right.
And so it causes us to do things that God, we know is not God's will. But if the hardest time to do anything is the first time, and then you slowly and gradually become desensitized. I want y'all to, especially, this has nothing to do with the men, especially those of you who are having these same-sex attractions and who are having these sex dreams and who are bi-curious. You have these curiosities and these fantasies that you've never gotten a chance to fulfill or act on. You have to pull those completely down, because once you open Pandora's box, the same-sex addiction is far worse than drugs or alcohol or gambling or any form of substance abuse, because those things cause some type of physical depletion. Whereas if you are on drugs, there will be weight loss or there will be visible health issues. But with the same sex, especially with the lipstick lesbians, the same sex attractions can be hidden for so long until you're lifting up your eyes, because people don't naturally know. You can see, if you see a stud, and that's for those who don't know, that's one of the names for the masculine females who cut their hair and carry the wallets. Well, some say butches, some say bulldoggers, but those are now derogatory terms. But when you see that's a person who has no regard for what people think. They're living in their truth, and don't shun away from them in the church. I'd rather have a stud than a lipstick lesbian, because if you haven't had experience, you don't know what you're looking for. If she's feminine with the high heels and appealing or interacting with men, you don't know what you're dealing with. And then that's how these female preachers get caught up in these crazy relationships, because you let these people close to you and you're traveling with them. And sometimes we have to sleep in the same hotel room with our team members and things like that, and paper touches pen, especially those that are single and are not getting any sexual attention in other arenas. And so I want you guys to be aware, because once you get caught up into the Word of God says bread eaten in secret is sweet, but it's like rottenness to the belly. Yeah. That same-sex attraction is the same thing, because there's a power that comes with it, and there's an addiction. I've only had sex with 2 women in my whole life, but both of those women wanted to come back, and I'm not really good in bed. So it's the addiction of the, well, I wasn't with a woman. Does it make sense? It wasn't a good experience for me. You ever had those who are sexually active, you ever had an experience you're like, what? Okay, right. I stand against God for this. I wasted my time for this. So imagine that experience amplified. You know why? Because if you are saved or you are chosen, God's going to always be. What are you doing? You don't have to be in the church quoting Bible scriptures. What are you doing? Why are you here? You know better. And so I don't want to skip over that. I felt led. I know that it's in the room in more than one vessel. And y'all don't have to, in the church is a taboo subject. So I'll just go ahead and kind of tap on a little bit for you guys. Don't masturbate when you're thinking about other women. Sexually, don't do any of that, because all of that is a draw that's designed to take you into the pit. And before long, you're open to, because, well, I mastered this, then what's the next thing? Well, let me try something else, and let me try something else. It is a progressive addiction. Y'all got it?
Amen.
All right. We'll do questions and answers in a moment. I apologize, gentlemen. Back to the question: if a woman's too damaged to be loved, share your feedback if you have more. No? Okay, the next thing. You reach for the microphone, Bishop. Come on.
Monsters. I know.
A woman is never too damaged to be loved.
That's good.
That's just like saying a sinner is too lost to be saved.
Wow.
A woman is never too damaged to be loved. What is missing is she needs to find the right spiritual contractor.
That's good.
Just because he has a pair of legs and sound like a man doesn't mean he's the right spiritual contractor. What a contractor does is that they come in and they survey the property. Once they survey it, they look over it, check for damages, check for leaks.
That's good.
Because when you've been in a bad relationship, there are some leaks.
Wow.
And there are some damages. I don't care how strong you are, your foundation has been cracked. You've been hurt. You got some situations going on that you allowed somebody else to do to you. And when you have the right spiritual surveyor or contractor in the house, he's going to come in and do what we call a critical needs assessment.
That's good.
Gonna see what you need. Find out what is missing.
That's good.
The problem I found out is that too many of us are availing ourselves to contractors who is operating with secondhand material. When you go to that secondhand store, that's some old used stuff.
Some of these brothers ain't even contractors. They shade tree mechanics.
They got a card.
Y'all shade tree mechanics and trying to fix your Mercedes Benz light. You got them shade tree mechanics. Yeah, that's what you're gonna run into. You gotta be careful. Then we, like I said, we want to fix it, but we're gonna assess if we can fix it or not. We'll back out. That means you have to look within and say, okay, is it him or is it really me? And what you say is me, what you identify as me, now what you gonna do about you? What are you gonna do about you? Are you gonna stay there in the same spot and say, well, folk just gonna have to take me and leave me? No, that's why you where you are right now. That mentality has got you where you are right now. Folk gonna have to just tell you where take me at somebody, this is where it is. You give it me, this is how it's gonna be. Why? But yet I come in your life, you expect me to change. I got to change. When you gonna change? What are you gonna change? And do I have the room or the latitude to say, you need to change that? And are you gonna take me serious when I say you need to change that?
You remember how we used to curse really, really bad? My daughter and I, it was normal. It was a normal part of our vernacular, and it was the way we communicated. I wasn't disrespected by her when she was used.
I said,
I didn't know. You grow up in an environment where it's commonplace. We used to drink wine coolers together.
sure did. They be sitting on the couch. Sipping on some bottle of James. I'm like, what y'all drinking?
Yeah.
Bottles of
I
James.
like bottles of James.
I'm like, I know these two ain't sitting on the couch drinking bottles of James.
Watching a TV show.
I'm just sitting there quiet observing, just laughing. And Alita has one of those animated laughs. She don't just laugh. I know she's just full of joy when she laughs, and I love it. So when she was having that bottles of James moment, that laugh got a little bit more animated. I said, "Oh shit, I got tipsy. Let me get the bottle, baby. Come on, give me the bottle."
I did not know. My mom was putting beer in my bottle as a baby.
Yeah.
Like, so I didn't know.
Beer in our bottle.
Yeah, I put beer in
As
her
a
bottle.
baby.
As a baby.
Younger than the mic.
Yeah, to make me go to sleep and things like that. And so, ladies, I want you to understand when he came on the scene and he was like, the way y'all, the foul language, and that's not okay. And I don't, it's not normal. Y'all need to fix it. And I was like, what do you mean? Prime example, we were in Walmart, the three of us. She saw something she wanted. Mom, can I get this? I said, no, you can't. Mom, can I get this? No, that's not in the budget. So we went on, finished our shopping. We get to the register. The thing I said, no, you can't get. And she was like, oh. So she takes it. She goes, she puts it back, and she comes back. And I was like, listen, I was fussing. I told you not to put that in there. You so-and-so, I told you, but blah, blah, blah. She was like, you don't have to be such a bee about it. I put it back. And I was like, don't do that again. So I was perturbed that she, didn't do what I told her to do. He was perturbed. No, it didn't bother me that she was like, no, because she wasn't calling me a bee. She was saying I was being a bee about, I made it right. Don't keep harping on me. That's what I interpreted it as.
That's what it was.
He said, don't you ever speak to your mother that way. And it was like a whole big deal, bro. Listen.
It was dramatic. I was like, what did I say?
Yeah, I was like, what did she say? I was protecting her. I was like, back up, bro. What did she say? And he was like, Leah, that's not normal. And so once he realized that I was missing it, then he put me in a position where I could learn that it was not normal. And when he addressed the issue of drinking, I was like, well, we've been doing this our whole life. That's not going to change. So, he used to sit us down and do Bible study every night. And he took me to the scripture that said, obey the laws of the land. Is it legal for you to give your child alcohol? If it's not legal, you shouldn't be doing it. Now, I know I might be the only one in the room that has that testimony, but each of you has something that your husband or your boyfriend or the man you want to marry you doesn't like. Some of it may be for your good. Did you guys have more you wanted to share on that? Bishop, I saw your pen moving. Don't play. Give it up. Give it up.
He's just glad I ain't got my glasses on today. I didn't even see them. I had to switch the kingdom.
The thing is that we was talking about the needs assessment. Women, you have to be willing to avail your spirit to the spiritual contract that God sends your way. Because if you close up your spirit, He's here to help you. But He can't help you if you have a closed sign on the door. You're saying, I'm not going to let another joker hurt me like that. I'm not going to let another joker do what the last one did. And when you think about the last one, did you test their spirit by the Spirit of the living God before you got a meeting? When you test your spiritual contractor spirit, something about you will be at ease when he comes. His job is to assess the needs and help you, watch this, get rid of the toxins that the last joker left. What are you talking about? The toxins that said, if I leave you, you'll never amount to anything. You're ugly, you're fat, you're not this and you're not that. Those are spiritual toxins that the last man left to cripple you, to keep you in that state where they put you. When you allow the right one to come in and they take or help you take away those toxins, then he can begin stabilizing the foundation. What are you talking about? Stabilizing by giving you the word, giving you some hope to help you start the rebuilding process. If you come in contact with a joker who is not a rebuilder, leave him alone. Because either he's going to be a rebuilder or a destroyer. A builder or a demolition man. You don't have time to deal with those demolition artists, as I call them. You need some builders in your life. Test it. Check his credentials. Check his resume. Don't be afraid to check who he was with before you.
Wow.
Come on, somebody.
That's good.
Check her. Ask her those hard questions.
Yeah, don't let your pride get in the way from doing, letting you do that. See, some of y'all women too prideful. Y'all don't want to hear what another woman may say about it. And sometimes you let your pride get in the way. We men, we do it too. And so I had to do it with her. I went to her exes. Had some conversations with her exes. Figure out, because we were going through a time in our marriage where it was real, and I didn't know what the heck to do, and I was going through some stuff, and the Lord had me to go to a couple of her exes, and they gave me some insight, and I used the information, and I went back to God, and based on that information, since then things have improved dramatically. But I had to put my ego aside to do that, because we are, whether you are willing to admit it or not, ladies, you got an ego too. And sometimes your ego won't allow you to do what you believe what is necessary to shift you in a place to where you can actually get the help you need. So with that being said, I just want to encourage all of y'all. Listen, everybody can and will be loved, but you got to be willing to do what it takes to be loved. Nobody's going to force their love on you. God won't even force his love on you. I want y'all to think about that. God will not force his love on you. We quote John 3:16 all day long. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes. You got a responsibility in receiving love. Do you believe that individual enough that he'll present love to you? You understand?
I want to say to the ladies, when my husband had to go, married women, when he had to go to my ex, and he didn't just go to any ex, he went to the man that I was in love with when I married him. He went to that guy. When he came back, what I saw was like a desperation, and I didn't like it. Don't ever deal with your man with this threatened thing where he feels desperate to lose you or to keep you, or don't do that. My ex was like, whatever you gotta do to save it. Don't let her go. You'll never get another woman like her. Whatever you gotta do. So he came back with this, for lack of a better word, groveling demeanor, like, I love you, I don't want to lose you, and all of this. And I was like, bruh, we don't have that kind of relationship. You don't have to kiss my ring. I love you as much as you love me. I value you as much as you value me. But some women manipulate men, and I used to do that. When you know that they are vulnerable for you, and when you know that they feel like you're irreplaceable, that doesn't give you a right to mishandle them or to make them feel inadequate in any way. And so I said to him, listen, me wanting out of this is not because I don't love you and I just feel like you're not good enough for me. It's for the reasons I mentioned. So now he is not the guy to do cutting the grass and washing the car and fixing, the plumbing and the repairs around the house at all. And when he met me, I had someone doing all those things. He didn't want me to pay for it, but he also didn't want to do it. And that is why he never cheated on me, he never beat me. I was raised up with these gender roles. I had a maid when he met me and all these things. You all have heard this story. And I didn't want to live my life without certain things. I don't like hot grass in the yard. I don't like a dirty car. I don't like pumping gas. I didn't care about God or how good he was in bed or how much money he had. I was going to trade him in for a model who would maintain those things, because that's what it takes for me to be comfortable. And I didn't understand he was not my helpmeet. I'm supposed to be his. And when God dealt with me, and I realized what he's bringing to the table to accommodate is a perk, but not a requirement from God, I adjusted my mindset. Some of you have these high expectations of men and you throw away great men for stupid carnal measures. Do not do that. And never speak to a man's inadequacies on any level when you're angry. Never. We've been together a lot of years. I've never said, you sleep on the couch, or you get out, or you. And he makes way more money than I do now, but early on in our marriage, I was the breadwinner. But I never did that because I didn't want to, in Bishop's words, ever castrate my husband. Oh, y'all jump up on your feet real quick. Stand up. And what I want you to do is go to a woman that you did not come here with and take her by the hand. Doesn't matter which woman. Find one that you didn't come here with. You may not know her. It doesn't have to be somebody you don't know, but I prefer it to be somebody you don't know. Does that make sense? Grab him by the hand. Face to face. I want you looking at her because you're going to share something with her. Does everybody have somebody? Okay, excuse me. If you don't have anybody, come over here. Come over here. Come on, Lindsay. Come right here. I have somebody. Come here. Okay, so you have somebody. You got somebody, Barbie? Okay. You got somebody, Cornisha? Barbie, you can't take her person. It's everybody got one person. Barbie just took your person. Cornisha, you right? Okay, I know. We're gonna take my lady. Okay, one of you guys come right here. Okay, and who else doesn't have somebody? These three don't have anybody, so we need to do some switching. So you three come on this side and switch with anybody on this side. All three of you. Come on quickly. Right, so you guys, anybody on this side, switch. He's autistic. It's okay. What? Wow.
He's trying to leave us again.
We don't have enough one extra person, so
He's trying to leave us.
Oh, no, oh, no, like, well, you get one.
Sure, you gotta leave.
Yeah, you got some right there? Okay.
Okay.
We got one more person, got one extra person over here.
Go ahead. We need you for a second.
Chop, chop.
Actually, yeah, she was. Go ahead, hurry up.
We got 3 people over here, so just grab.
Okay. So now I want you to look her in the eyes. And I want you to say, you know what, girl?
You know what, girl?
I didn't consider when I came in this room.
I didn't consider when I came in this room.
And I saw you.
And I saw you.
That there may be some trauma there.
That there may be some trauma there.
And I also didn't realize.
And I also didn't realize.
That maybe you've been around church people your whole life.
That maybe you've been around church people your whole life.
And none of them noticed your trauma.
And none of them noticed your trauma.
I want to be the first one or one of the first people
to be the first one or one of the first people
to acknowledge your pain,
to acknowledge your pain,
to let you know you do matter.
to let you know you do matter.
You are important
You are important
to God
to God
and to me.
and to me.
Can I give you a hug? Now I need y'all to do a group hug over there so he doesn't get out. Because he's trying to get away. So now, look her in her eyes.
Let's go sit down with me.
No, we're not done. Ministry is not a quick thing. Y'all looking for these men to do all the ministry. You gonna minister today. Y'all have been sitting and receiving in the conference all week. Minister to your sister. You're looking in her eyes. Tell her what you see, and I want you to begin to pray for her. Then we'll be finished. What do you see? And pray.
Extra like a lot of life. It's like we're trying to build a good life. A good
Yes. Yes. Hallelujah. 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 Bless your name, Jesus. Hallelujah. Bless your name, God. Ooh. Let me tell y'all something. It's one thing to pray and important to each other, but it's been so long since I've seen the mothers actually minister. Mother is ministering to another mother. Strengthening the brother. They normally just sit in church. They don't like prayer. They too cute. They too whatever. really come in to be served and accommodated instead of to be a servant and strengthen their brother. Whew. As the while some bask in the residue, some are still praying.
I want to say to those who are finished, I'm thinking about my mom right now. Still this morning, talk to me. But my thing was my mom had held on to the trauma of what my father did to her when she was dating me. I'm 48 years old. And to know that my mom carried out that for 48 years. And in some ways is still carrying that trauma. And my heart was just that she was able to come and partake of this conference. I really believe that the word that has gone forth, that this interaction would have
Birth healing.
brought her out, birth some healing. It, just I got the revelation of the impact that he had on her life a few years back, but the fact that she's still holding on to some of that, and it affected our relationship between her and myself. I was not able to have the mom that a lot of young men that I saw back in my day have that relationship with their mom. It was kind of for lack of a better way of explaining it, love-hate type relationship. We loved each other, but really couldn't stand being around each other. And it's not because of what he has done. And I realized a few years back, I'm that constant reminder.
Yes.
You don't know, I was that constant reminder of what he did when she was 18 years old. 18 years old. So you don't I think a lot of times we come in these settings and we don't realize what we're getting in these settings. We don't realize the treasure that is buried in these settings. We come because of the names that are involved. We come because of the possibility that we might be able to network and connect. But what has happened here this weekend is true deliverance.
Yes, Lord.
If you didn't get your deliverance, that's on you. That's your fault. That's your fault. There was room every night to be delivered and to be set free.
And someone did get delivered in every setting. Every speaker bought a different type of oil that was necessary for the fulfillment of the vision, and I'm grateful.
But my soul cries for my mom right now. Because she's carrying a weight that God never meant for her to carry for 50 years. And sometimes we make that mistake as people. We begin to overcompensate for the trauma that we've experienced. My mom overcompensates for her trauma. And she's gone through a lot of trauma. She's gone through abuse, not just neglect, abandonment over her life. And so now she has this tough exterior. And it's rare that you see her cry. It's rare that you see her cry. If you see my mom crying, trust me, something has touched her to her very core. Stuff that most women would cry, she would in her face. Stuff that would affect some of you to a point of bringing you to tears. She wouldn't do it because she has overcompensated for the level of trauma that she has experienced in her life. So she has reverted to masculine energy to protect her feminine core. I know sometimes for a lot of women that is a necessity, but it's only for God only meant for it to be that way for a short period of time, for a season, but not for 50 years. But there are some of you in this room that are carrying things that was not meant for you to carry for as long as you carried them. It was only meant for you to hold it for a season and then to let it go. I pray that the prayers that you prayed over one another will empower you to drop those things in a grave and bury it forever so that you can move forward. If y'all know how to pray, I want you to pray for Papa. I want Papa to be free from that pain once for all. I want her to be free from that hurt that she suffered at the hands of my father. I want her to be free, not for me, but for her. I want her to be able to enjoy the rest of her life. I want her to be able to come and smile. I want her to be able to just smile. I want her to be free to cry. I want her to be free to just be a woman.
Oh my God.
I just want her to be free to be a woman. God, free my mama. Free my mama, please, Jesus.
We thank you right now for my mother-in-law's healing, Lord. We come right now bombarding heaven to give her peace. Father, restore unto her the joy of her strength. Her laugh is so infectious, God. We thank you now that that laughter will be restored. Father God, we know that weeping may endure for a night, but joy does come in the morning. Father God, I pray that my husband's spirit is settled, that his confidence in your ability to deliver and heal her is restored. And Father, we thank you for his compassion and his tender heart. We don't take that for granted, we know. But Father God, we trust you. We release our faith in the atmosphere. We claim it. And we know that it's already done. We don't have to physically be there. We send your word now to sever that soul tie. We send your word now, Father God, to perform surgery on that heart and cause healing to manifest immediately. The authority in Jesus' name. We thank you, we trust you, and we know that it's already done. Amen. Be okay, babe. She's gonna be okay.
Just watch it all. Just pray for one another. That's what it's about, y'all. That's what it's about. Just watch it all. Just care for one another. Minister to one another. That's what it's about. That's what these sessions and these moments and these opportunities are to be about.
Let me tell you something. You guys praying and pouring into each other. I knew that God would move because we're in a room full of anointed pioneers, right? But what I did not expect was to see the two mothers from this coast and the mother from Los Angeles praying for each other. And all of you did something different, but the two of them put their foreheads together like the Wonder Twins and activated power. Usually when you see the mothers, they sit around in church being served and people are running in. They already paid their dues and now they're being taken. They don't come into the church. The mothers of 2022, they don't come in to pour. They come in to be poured into. But to see them pour feverishly into each other blessed me. Don't stop. You're not too old to pour. You still have value. The Father has need of your gift, and they strengthen each other. I watched the strengthening happen. Y'all don't just let mother sit in the corner. Mother got a word. Mother got a word. Mother got a word. And it was so gentle. Because when we prayed, we're so dominant and aggressive and raw. It was so soft and gentle, but it was powerful. I'm impacted most by witnessing that. Do you mind if I ask your age, Mom?
He's 85.
85. Do you mind if I ask your age, Mother?
No, 78.
Wow! If these grandmas can get in here and pray, how come us 20? Nobody else has an excuse to not pray for your sister. We just saw a 78-year-old and an 85-year-old grandmother pouring, laboring with each other to strengthen their sister. When you come to church, you got to find out which sister are you assigned to strengthen in that meeting. Stop coming with your hand out to receive and come with a full cup to pour. We get ready because I want us to be able to eat around 3 o'clock, and so I thought we'd be through with the questions by then. Discussions by then, so that we could do questions and answers. While the food is out, I wanted to do the question and answers. We have a couple of more. Dating or marrying a man who doesn't serve God with you. Gentlemen, what are the pitfalls of dating or marrying a man? Bishop sort of touched on it a little bit earlier. Who doesn't serve God with you when he was talking about the jokers and the men who are playing games. But what advice do you have for the women who are dating or are married to a man who doesn't serve God with them?
I want to deal with it from a perspective of women coming into the faith, and they're still dating a man that has not yet come into the faith, or they're married to the man that has not yet come into the faith. It's very important that you understand that he has not yet come into the faith. So you can't hold his feet to a fire that was not built for him.
You sure look good rocking that baby.
Y'all hear what I just said? You can't hold him to a fire that was not yet built. That was not yet built.
That's right.
You can't, I understand you now have standards and that's great. But, he's still not saved. You don't understand the principles of the kingdom yet. You're just getting that understanding yourself. So you gotta have a measure of mercy for that individual. And the Bible says that a woman can win their spouse just from her chaste conversation and from her behavior and how she can act. I believe that's 1 Peter chapter 3. You gotta understand, ladies, that you have the power to win them over. He may not come to your church, he may not be saved, but he may still come over to doing things or seeing things your way. And oftentimes, as believers, we make the fatal mistake of trying to make him saved.
That don't work.
That don't work. You can't make him get saved. He's got to come into that knowledge. Now, you could do little things to encourage him. But one of the major things that I tell women, especially women who are married to unsaved men, is continue to treat that man the way you treated him before you got saved.
That's right.
Sometimes you just gotta just live life like normal. All you're doing is making room for the Lord. So continue to make room for God, but make sure his needs are taken care of before you go out and do what you do for the Lord. Make sure you understand that he has a level of priority in your life and not the pastor. One of the baddest things that I see in the church that women do in the church is they treat the pastor like their husband. And when they go home to their husband, their unsaved husband, or even their saved husband, he pastor this and pastor that. So when he finally come to the church, now the pastor got to deal with something he didn't even do. He got to deal with pressure and drama he didn't even create. Oh, you gonna make him fried chicken and I can't get a piece? Come on, man. Oh, I gotta take this to the pastor. What about me? I like fried chicken too. Yeah, as a matter of fact, it wasn't my money that bought that chicken to be fried.
Okay, but now let me just say this. Because sometimes the pastor treats the woman with more respect. That's not justifying it, but it's giving understanding.
And even, I'm going to help y'all with that. The pastor can treat you with more respect because you don't have to go home with him.
That part.
Wow.
Of course he can treat you with more respect. You don't have to go home with him. He don't know your shortcomings. He don't know your idiosyncrasies. He just sees you once or twice a week and that's it. So of course I could be a little bit more respectful to you because you God's people. That you're not my wife, you're God's woman. You're God's people. In the mind of a pastor, you are God's people. I'm just the shepherd. I'm just responsible for the job of just nudging you here, making sure you stay on the path, and making sure that you go in the direction that God will send you. But when it's all said and done, and we give the benediction, I don't go home with you. I don't know what you say to him. I don't know how you deal with him. Furthermore, if I was your husband, would you deal with me the way you deal with your husband? So of course I can be polite and respectful and honorable to you because I don't know your faults. I don't know your flaws. I don't know your shortcomings. I don't know all of your idiosyncrasies, of course, because I don't go home with you. But he has to deal with you on a day-by-day basis. So he deserves a level of honor and respect that I shouldn't be getting. And so as a man, as a pastor, or even as a female pastor, and I'm going to come back for these female pastors today. Even as a female pastor, she shouldn't have to wrestle with your man. Because because she the pastor. She shouldn't have to. And sometimes, ladies, y'all cause your pastors and your leaders to go through stuff they have no business going through because you won't take time to make sure your man is good before you hit the doors of the service.
All right. That's good.
Okay, so which brings us to our next topic of discussion: the pitfalls, the benefits, and disadvantages to dating an alpha female. First of all, what is your definition of an alpha female? Grandma said Anthony.
Alpha female, interesting. A rule breaker.
What?
A rule breaker.
Wow.
They tend to break the rules that are set. They tend to be very challenging. And it's hard to compete with a challenger or someone who is just as challenging as you are. It's a hard place to be when two people demanding the same attention and the same applause. Neither one want to take the low road. Both want to be on the high road. And there is a battle constantly won. You got a house with an alpha male and a house with an alpha female. You got a two-headed monster where there is no peace. She can't outdo you and you can't outdo her. So who wins when both of them are breaking rules? They set rules in the house and they both break them. Why set rules anyway? If you're going to challenge the rules that you set. You shouldn't have to fight against what you already are. If you're a woman and you're a female, your beauty desire demands attention. Why be with an alpha male who is fighting for attention that you deserve? As a man who's dating an alpha female, you are a man. You're dating somebody that looks like a woman, but has that attitude and the attributes of a man. It's a hard place to be in. It's a real hard place to be in. You will remain at war. Because everybody want to be the main display. What I learned is nobody want to be the chef or the stand that the display goes on. As a man, we need to be the stand. Because God has given you a Proverbs 31 woman. We should be the stand, and we should be the chef that displays the beauty of God. But we're living in this time where we want to be the display and make her the stand. And if the weightiness of you will crush you if you're not careful. Back to you.
An alpha female. Okay, I want to hear what
I personally don't believe there's a such thing as an alpha female. I believe there's an aggressive female I believe there's a female who's overcompensating. And what we do is we tend to call them alpha to try to compare them to on a manly stage. Our society has trained women to stop being women and to start demanding to be put on the same level playing field as a man. The problem with that, and some people think I'm going to take a slash at women's lib and all of that. But I personally believe that that was supposed to be a God anointed movement. That was supposed to be a movement God intended, the whole women's lib movement, because God has a treasure in women that needed to be out. And just like men are children of God, so are you. Y'all deserve to be treated with a level of honor and respect, just as we are. But what has happened is that just like just like the Bible says, what the devil meant for evil, God will use for good. We have to also use the law of opposites, where because if you ever go to seminary, there's a law called the law of opposites. So if the Bible says something is true, we have to determine and deduce that the opposite of that has to also be true, right? And so what God made meant for good, the devil will certainly twist it and use towards evil purposes. And what has happened is in our society, with women demanding to be on an equal playing field with men, they began to view themselves as men. They began to deal and view themselves as men. And so now they feel and believe that they can do the same stuff as men. They can live and lift as much as men can. They can go forth and do as much as men can. And you could, but let's deal with facts. Let's deal with facts. You ain't digging no ditch. There's certain things a woman ain't gonna do. She ain't digging no ditch. She ain't building
What
no
you
building.
mean? I dig a ditch. In the spirit.
She ain't digging no ditch. Building a house, you don't find too many women out there building houses.
Well, there are women who will.
And say they weren't. No, I said you don't
Pretty
find,
girls too.
You don't find too many of them out there. Fix your car. Ain't too many female mechanics out there. So you want, so we got to really get to that place where we say to ourselves, do we really want an even playing field? Or what is it that we really want? Do we really want an even playing field, or do we want respect? And so a lot of times what you're finding is that these aggressive women holler about even playing field. What they're really wanting is respect. And they don't feel respected.
Okay. So, what about the women who have been forced to fend for themselves and they want to be feminine? They want to be feminine and they want to be accepted.
But it's going, well, you can do that, but it's going to require you to take a lesser role. See, you said it perfectly. You said it a few minutes ago. You had to learn how to understand your role as a helpmeet. Just because you made more money than me didn't mean that my role was to help you. Your role was to help me. And see, when she said she understood that, she even though she's aggressive, even though she's assertive, she had to curtail it back some and place it under my authority and under my leadership. So it's not that her role is diminished. And it's not I'm suppressing who she is as an individual, but what she has done is she has submitted those things under my leadership. And see, we've looked upon the word as submission incorrectly. Submission has often been associated with slavery. Submission has often been associated with disrespect, being walked on or walked over, but that's not submission. That is not submission. That's servitude. That's slavery. Submission says, listen, I recognize and honor who God has placed you to be in my life, and I commit myself to helping you accomplish God's vision for this family, for this relationship.
Okay, so, okay.
Come on.
All right. So if she's never had an example of how to submit, that doesn't mean that she's aggressive. Assertive and aggressive is an offensive term.
You never had an example?
Assertive. If she's proficient and she's assertive.
You never had an example. I can only use you as an example. You never had an example. Your mom was rough.
She was.
Your mom was a thug. She was a gangster.
She was.
She was notorious here in the Dallas, Texas area.
She was.
The cops knew her by name.
Yeah.
But how did you learn?
The Holy Spirit, I got saved.
How did you get exposed to the Holy Spirit?
My relationship with God, church.
And?
No.
No, you
I had
placed,
the Holy Ghost before
you placed yourself in an environment that you could be taught. And you left yourself open to be taught. It's one thing to place yourself in an environment you to be taught, but are you open to be taught? Are you teachable? And so, because you learned how to do that, it equipped you. And I don't stop you from being aggressive. I need your aggressiveness. Sometimes I'm not aggressive enough. So I let step back and say, okay, now look. I'll give you a prime example. This building is a prime example of how the Lord uses her aggressiveness, and how I'm wise enough to step back and
my assertiveness.
her aggressiveness, her assertiveness. Okay, we'll use that word. And so when we were trying to get this building, I was kind of handling all the paperwork and trying to handle all the stuff, and we ran into a problem. The people didn't have a problem with renting this building to us. So, but we just had to go get the permit from the city of Arlington. So I called the city of Arlington. I submit the application and everything, submit online and everything. Denied. And so I'm calling them and saying, okay, what's the reason why we were denied? So I looked up the email, and the email says the place was rated for 180 people. And so we needed 2 or 3 more bathrooms to accommodate 180 people. Now look at this room. Where are we gonna put another 2 or 3 bathrooms? You can't. Because this place is not big enough to fit 180 people. So I called the city and I said to the lady, I said, excuse me, ma'am, I think there's a mistake or a problem here, because according to this letter, we're supposed to fit 180 people, and there's no possible way you could fit 180 people in this building.
Hold on. I apologize. Hold your thought. We have shrimp and we have chicken, and they need to know, because the menus were not printed out, you guys, and for time's sake, how many of you want chicken? The ones that want shrimp, raise your hand. Or if you want a little bit, of both, raise your hand.
Everybody.
Okay, not everybody. If you only want shrimp, raise your hand. If you only want chicken, raise your hand.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So make 5 plates with just chicken.
You can use the chicken plates first, because he's very allergic in case there's any kind of cross, using it the same utensils.
Okay.
Make 5 plates with chicken, and then the rest, a little bit of shrimp and chicken. They were going to do that I got you. They're separated already.
So
But that's why I needed to ask real quick, you guys.
So we come into, I'm like, ma'am, I think there's a mistake. There's no way we can fit 2 more bathrooms in this place. She's like, well, unfortunately, that's what it's going to be required to get into this place, and I'm not changing it. Good, bad, click.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, you know good. I know you didn't just hang up on me. I'm having a bad day at work too, and I'm spending time, my lunchtime, I'm hungry, and you gonna talk to me like this? Oh, Lynn was like, babe, what's wrong? She heard me going off. I was just going off. And she was like, babe, what's wrong? And I explained to her what happened, and she was like, what's her name? I gave her the name. I think it was Gaffney. What's her name? I gave her the note. 5 minutes later, this woman comes into the room. Okay, babe, this is what you need to do. You need to write it, she said. She'll give it to us.
Draw up a blueprint.
Draw up a blueprint and configuration as to how we're going to have the church, and we're going to be good. Wait a minute, hold on. Is this the same one that said she ain't changing her mind? The one that half cussed me out over the phone and told me it ain't. What you talking about, babe? She was nice and sweet and humble. Oh, I wanted to drive all the way down to Arlington City Hall. I wanted to find out who this lady was. I wanted to give her 2 body shots real quick. Because I know she didn't just handle me that. So, I kid you not, just that fast, it was done. I said, well, Lord, I thank you. I got an aggressive and assertive life. An assertive life. She was very assertive. And that thing, but you know, it's necessary. But like I said, but she submitted under my authority that she was able to go right in and handle that. But when I need to handle something, I said, babe, let me handle it. She let me handle it. And she understands her role in my life is not diminished, and I don't diminish her. I understand that what God had put in her was to be an asset to me and not a liability. So I had to ask God, how am I going to use this asset in a manner that this doesn't become a liability?
I want to finish up. They have questions, and I want them to have a chance. I want to give you guys a chance to ask your questions. Here's the last one that we're going to discuss, and prayerfully by then the food will be out, and you guys can eat or ask while everyone else is asking questions. For the married women, how can married women prevent staleness in their marriage?
Easy be women.
But they are women. Can you say it another way?
Act like a woman?
And what does that mean to act like a woman?
All right, I'm going to say it. Let me tell you when a man sees you. If a man sees a woman, let me tell you what he really sees. And Bishop, correct me if I'm wrong, especially when that's his woman, his wife. The best way I can imagine is when she come out the shower. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. It's like the angels of God are singing glory to your name. Yes.
And he got an amen according.
It's like the light just shines differently. My Lord. Like the light just shines
Trina
differently.
Gaffney, get your husband. I can't get by either.
It's like the light just shines differently when she comes in the room after a shower or she got through cooking the dinner and she's like, "Baby, you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, girl, I'm all right, girl. What you want? What you want? You want all my money? You want my house? You want my car? What you want, girl? Tell me what you want." My house and my car for just a hit of you. You can have it all. Listen now, y'all. When a woman is a woman, it's like, man. Brothers got to stop whatever they do. What you doing? Come here. What's on your mind? When a woman is just feminine, just all feminine, just dress it. When she dress up nice and she looks real good, you make you say, "We ain't going out. Just take all that off. We ain't going out. Just go on, get in the room. We ain't going out. Where we going? We supposed to go out to eat. We gotta go, boy. No, we ain't gotta go nowhere. You looking all good, delicious. Oh, get over there. Get over in the room." When a woman is a woman, it's just something. It does something to a man. When she's just being feminine, just smiling. A woman, when our wives, ladies, y'all, why don't y'all smile no more? And y'all get offended when a man tell y'all to smile. Why? Why? When a man tell you to smile, it's because you pretty. You need to smile. You're ugly.
What now, sir?
Your questionable countenance. It's not doing you any favors. Smile.
Okay, so
show pearly white.
So what can they do to keep things from going stale over time in the marriage that is non-sexual?
Non-sexual. Well, again, being feminine. Listen. Sometimes, ladies, it's just the way you deal with us as men. Y'all, when you make a man, y'all know how y'all make a man feel special? The Bible told you how to make a man feel special. The Bible said that God made man in his image and his likeness, right? Right. But then the Bible also said God inhabits the praises of his people. So when a woman praises her man, that does something to him. Babe, you did that. Babe, I know you went through a lot of pressure, but you handled that like a champ. I'm proud of you. Give him a compliment every now and then. I think what happens is the tendency, especially in marriage relationships, women have the tendency to look at the failures of a man and highlight the failures of a man, that they don't ever take the time to celebrate his wins. And so now the man feels relegated because he thinks he can't do anything right. Because you never celebrated my wins. You never said, "That was good, dog. That was good job, man. Good job."
I'm astonished, ladies. Am I the only one to hear this? That a way of keeping things from going stale is a simple compliment.
Okay, I'm gonna hit y'all. When was the last time you told your man you loved him?
I tell you every day.
You tell me every day. You tell me every day. Because we had this conversation. But women don't tell their husbands they love them every day. They don't. I guarantee you, if I was to ask your husband, when was the last time your wife said, "I love you"? He can't remember. He can't remember. He won't remember. Because you won't say it enough. You don't say it enough in his hearing. Oh, so a lot of guys walk around here thinking, hey, I'm just a do-boy.
All right, so I want to know, you guys, what questions do you have? Because a couple of you made sure that I knew that you had questions and you wanted to do question and answer time. And so, what questions do you take away the salad points? Leave the forks, please. What questions do you have? That's fine. Thank you, baby. Nobody got questions? Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
I'm gonna try to shape it the best way I can. But a woman who has lack of a relationship with her father, how would that translate to, say, like the man who's supposed to be the contractor that's supposed to help you kind of heal? How does that relate to the missing father piece? Yeah.
Good question. Hold the microphone and pass it to the next person that has a question. No, you can just sit with it until they have the question.
Pleasure.
So you said let me make sure I understood.
I'm sorry, I didn't bless the food and I'm just saying, Lord, thank you for this food. We're about to see that be nourished for our body. Jesus' name, amen. So what were you saying?
The lack of the father and how it was.
I guess how to relate to the contractor that comes. How you explain that?
Well, it can be very difficult if you never had like a relationship with your father, and you got one. All of a sudden, you got a man that's coming in, doing and saying what your father should have done. It can be strange, and at some point, you can be very guarded because it's like you're trying new stuff that you've never tried before. And you open yourself up and trying to decide, should I allow him to come in and give me what I desire and what I've longed for? Should I allow him or should not? Because if daddy wasn't there, if daddy walked out, what makes you think that he won't walk out? So in the back of your mind, you always have your guard up somewhere. You know, you have your guard up where you're thinking, well, is these empty words? Because at some point, daddy dropped me off on the porch and said, I'll be back on your birthday. And you've had 25 birthdays come and gone. And those are broken promises. And the worst thing is when you see daddy with another family down the block, spending the time that you desire to spend with him. It can be very, very tough. And when you get the right spiritual contractor, you already come in with a situation. Are you going to be like him? What makes you think that, well, what assurance do I have that you're not going to do the same thing that my missing father did to me?
I can speak to your age because for many years I didn't know who my dad was. So I had to cling to the closest father figure that I had in my life, which is my grandfather. So now, what do you do if your grandfather was a jerk? I don't know. Best thing you can do is pray and ask God to send people in your life that can help you process situation of that trauma. But the biggest thing that I can say to you is what you have to do is look for those positive examples in your life where you can cling to especially if you've never had a father figure. Find a father in your life. You have an example. You have an example. So learn from your example. Okay, how is my man supposed to treat me? This is your example. God is able to, the Bible says, I'm going to say it the way the Bible says, He shall restore the years that the palmer and the canker worm. God will do it. If you're willing to accept the examples that God has placed before you, God will definitely allow you to learn what it is that you need to find in a man and teach you how to submit, support, and to encourage and to empower that individual to be more of that in your life from your example. You got it?
My question is, it's just the opposite of her question. What if you had your father in your life and your mother and your father, you saw them never have a fight, never heard them say a harsh word to each other, saw your father when your mother had a stroke, take care of your mother till she died, and you always constantly looking for a man like that.
Wow.
Because I got married, her father, LaShonda's dad, and I grew up in the country, okay? I'm 74 years old. No, I'm not. 72 years old. Think about my brother. I'm 72 years old. And I have searched for someone like that from the time, even when I married her father. You know, when you meet someone and then they begin to treat you while you were dating, and everything you want, you get. You grew up that way. Because I had a bunch of brothers and everything that I wanted, I got. But when you got married, all of that changed. And you were not going to take those changes gladly. No, because I'm the type of person, since I never saw my father or them fuss or fight or anything. And I was not going to grow up with a man that became abusive because he, began to do things that he should not have done. And I walked away because I'm not going to be abused by any man. That was my mindset. So you go throughout your life always searching for that man like your daddy. Just the opposite of what she's talking about. So what do you do then?
My God.
I'm going to ask you some questions. You ready?
Yeah.
When you married this man, did your family get a chance to meet him?
My sister did.
I'm talking about your brothers and your daddy.
My father met him
And what did he
after
say?
I got married.
Okay.
After I was married, my father met him.
See, after.
And my father always thought that we were happy because I put on that facade. The whole while that my dad was alive, he thought that I was very happy and married.
Right.
That everything was fine. When my father no longer lived, I was not going to put on that type of facade anymore.
Okay. I'm going to share this with you. The father knows when his daughter is happy for real or not. He knows. Sometimes a father just won't say nothing because you've already in this relationship, so it's too late. My input is not going to have the impact as it could have if it was prior to the relationship, but prior to the marriage. I believe your father was a typical dude who said, well, she's already married to him anyway. I can't say nothing now. It's too late. All I could try to do is help encourage her through this to the best of my ability. A lot of times, situation, God is giving you a filter in your family, and yet we don't utilize that filter. We don't utilize that filter well enough. We don't let them be screened by the other individuals in our family, specifically of the male individuals of our family. And because we won't let them be screened, we kind of walk into situations haphazardly. And I believe with all my heart, if you would have took him before you got married, your father would have had an opportunity to say, baby girl, I don't think you need to hook up with this dude. Here's why. Now, to answer to really go into your question, what is your screening process?
At that time, it was, I guess at that time I was more into, I grew up spoiled, okay?
Yeah.
It was 13 of us and only two girls.
Because you don't definitely be spoiled.
So I grew up that way. If I needed something,
The man in the house got
my
it.
father, I followed my daddy everywhere. If he went fishing, I wanted to go, except for hunting. When my father wanted to go fishing, I wanted to go fishing. Everywhere, if he he always went to church, so I always went to church. So there was no problem there. But then the fact that you already in a family that basically gave you what you wanted,
Right.
you know, and then you meet somebody that start out giving you what you want
Right.
financially, and you get married, and all that began to change.
Well, my question is, because I'm moving past that, because what's done is done. What is your screening process now?
Now,
What standards do you have in place? And let me give you an example of what I'm saying. When I met this beautiful, luscious, and voluptuous woman right here to my left hand side, getting with Lynn Sims wasn't easy. She had a list of 126 things on a piece of paper of what her man, what she believed God spoke in her spirit, of what her man was going to be to her. The reason why she didn't marry the man that she loved when she married me was because of the fact she put that list on him. And when she put that list on him, he was like, woo. That's a lie.
Good day.
There's the filter. That list was her filter. So when she presented me with the list, because I'm in here saying, I believe the Lord said you mine. Oh, really? She goes to the person, pulled out the list. Bam! I looked at the list. Looked at the list again. I said, you got a pen? She was like, what you need a pen for? I need to go through and assess myself according to your list to see if I stand up to your list. See, a man who's really interested in you and really about being what you need him to be will take your filtering process seriously enough to put himself under that scrutiny. You need a filter. Ladies, y'all need a filter. You do. You need people in your life that has nothing to gain, nothing to lose, to look at these individuals and say, hey, I don't think he the one. I think you need to leave that joker alone, and here's why. I do it to all my daughters. All my daughters, natural and spiritual. I did it my daughter in Florida. I sure did. I did it to my daughter in Florida, and my daughter was like, man, I love him. I said, you don't move from your mom's house to this dude's house in Georgia. Yeah, I love him. I said, okay, all right, whatever. I said, y'all having sex? Yeah. So y'all plan on having kids, right? What you gonna do when y'all have kids? We ain't gonna have no kids. I said, I'm gonna ask you again. Are you planning to have sex? Well, yeah. I said, so you must be planning to have kids.
That's right.
I'm her filter. I gotta filter it all out. I said, is the guy working? Well, he got 2 jobs. Okay, does he have kids? Yeah. Are they with him? Well, when I do the will, I said, oh. The kids stay with the mom. But I get them every now and then. I said, oh, okay. I said, I didn't say nothing right away. But she messed around, called me too, about a week later. Daddy. What was that? What you sorry about? I'm pregnant. I was a girl. I knew you were gonna get pregnant. What you talking about? I knew you were gonna get pregnant. You doing what grown folk do. Grown folk gonna get pregnant when you do what grown folk do.
That's right.
How's it about it? Well, I don't know. He just started acting funny all of a sudden. I said,
I know all those words.
and it really got to a height because he couldn't keep a $24 cell phone on, but he working 2 jobs.
While she was pregnant, her cell phone kept getting cut
off. You can't keep a $24 cell phone on? This woman's carrying your child. You can't get. I said, baby, you need to go back to your mama. You go back to your mama house right now. Go on back to your mama house. I'm gonna send you some money. Who's your carry with? I said, I'll pay your bill. Don't worry about that. But you need to get back to your mama house. Because I ain't gonna do this for long. As long as you stay in there, you need to get yourself together. If not, you go back to your mama house. Not even 2 weeks later, he took her back to her mama's house.
to visit.
And left her there.
Pregnant.
The filter. Got it.
Ladies, excuse me, babe. Do not ignore your filters. It's for your protection. That's the first thing. Here's the second and most important part. If a man already has kids, you better pay attention to how much money, how much time, how much love he's investing with his existing kids. Because you number next.
Her number next. Come on.
Whatever it looks like for her, it will most likely look the same way for you.
So, if you don't have a filter in place, get one.
Any other questions?
She has a question, but I have a comment to your filter.
Mm-hmm.
My most important filter, as you would say, is based on, since I'm older now, much older, much more mature in the Lord. The first thing that I would want to know, are you a believer in God?
That's the.
And if, and I do have a filter, right? I mean, the person that's going to filter you is right behind me.
Yeah.
Right over there.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right
That's
there.
What I'm talking about. Now let me explain
And
to
a
you.
husband.
Let me explain to you why I said because I don't want because some of y'all saints of God, single saints of God, have that number one question: are you a believer in God? They can say yes all day, but do you believe as I believe? When it comes to God, how can 2 walk together except they be agreed? We can both go to church, but you go to a Baptist church, I go to a Holy Pentecostal church. How's this gonna work?
That's what I'm talking about.
How's this gonna work? I believe in speaking in tongues. You don't even believe that women shouldn't even be in the pulpit. My daughter's my pastor. How's this gonna work?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking. Filter.
Yes.
It's not just good enough to say, do you believe? Do you go to church? That's not good enough anymore.
Amen.
It's not. It's not good enough anymore. You got to go deep.
Yes.
You got to ask them, what do you believe about the resurrection of Christ? Do you believe that he died, was buried, rose again, ascended into heaven after the being in the grave 3 days, coming back? You got to ask that question now because so many brothers are saying, oh yeah, I believe in Jesus. Oh, really? So
I'm a Christian.
I'm a Christian.
Right.
Oh, really? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how much you believe. Do you believe in speaking in tongues? Do you believe in miracle signs and wonders? Do you believe? Do you gotta go deeper? You gotta go deeper. You ladies, y'all hear what I'm saying to you? You gotta go deeper than that surface. Oh, he said he believed God. No. What God do you believe? It's either God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Or is he the booty God? What God do you believe?
The God of them cheeks.
Y'all, I'm not trying to smoke. I'm trying to help you and help other women because they throw that question out there like it's a piece of salmon trying to catch a shark. And really what you're dealing with is you throwing out a shrimp trying to get, and you're getting guppies.
Wow.
That saying that is just like throwing out shrimp to get a guppy. No, you need to find out. Let's go deeper now. Okay, you believe God. What God? Do you believe the God Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the one that had a son named Jesus? Or do you believe Buddha?
Or a higher power.
Or a higher power, or the universe?
I'm more spiritual than I am Christian.
You got to find out what
That's
they
what,
believe.
yeah.
Because
I don't need church.
if they're really believers, listen, I'm trying to help y'all. If they're really believers, you can break them down like that, and they got to answer to everything you got to say. If they're really believers, it shows up in their lifestyle. It shows up in their actions. It shows up in how they deal with you. It shows up in the conversation. If they're really believers.
Okay. And let me just say this for the women who are super saved sexually, are serious about no sex before marriage. Kenyon Bryce, no sex before marriage. He was not celibate before he met Kenyon. He was a champion gunslinger. But when she came along, son, I love you. I'm not trying to throw y'all off.
You done already.
The meat market was in town. And so when he encountered a woman of God that had real standards, real values, regardless of how much booty he had gotten before he met her, he had to come up. And he had to put that carnality and the gratification of his flesh down. So Bryce, come on up here real quick, because I just need you to, I want you to tell the women why you made that decision. What can you do, or what was it about her? What made you make that change? Come on, champion slanger. No, just okay. So a lot. No, just come on.
What made me change how I approached Kenya was the fact of the matter of how she presented herself. It was straight to the point on how we met when we first talked. There wasn't no explicit sexual conversation or anything like that. It was basically, this is what she wanted, this is what I knew I could give her. But the thing was that I had to be serious on my end. So with growth and development over time, before I even met her, that's what also played a factor. So if I was still immature, we wouldn't be here today.
Come on.
It would be a setback. There would be a rift, even in dating. So when you are straight to the point, and you stand by what you straight to the point.
That part.
You don't have to. I'm not gonna say be rah with it, but you stand by what you say. You're gonna see a man do either two things. Either he's going to claim he's going to step up to that and see how long he can hang in there. Because once you continue to grill him without grilling him doing your everyday, then you'll see him probably fold. He can't hang. He has to draw back. He's not used to this. Or you You're gonna have somebody that's gonna be ready for the occasion and be able to go through those ties, be able to adjust. So if he's not mature already, you got two options. You really got one. You don't have to stick around for that. If God hasn't told you that's him, move around.
God, come on now.
Do not waste your time. Because the time you waste is the man that is set for you he's already moved around for somebody else that had to be set for him. When you could have been him, when you could have been set for him. So, but going back to me and Kenya, it was basically she was straight to the point. I knew that I wanted to have a relationship with her. I knew that she was the one. I prayed about this just like she prayed about me. I prayed about her without even knowing her. So when we finally met, when I finally saw her in person, that was it for me. So I had no second guesses on it. I didn't question myself on it. I went ahead and did my due diligence, did my homework, and really prayed to make sure that I could be that man of the caliber that I'm still working on being to this day, being freshly married. So that's my 2 cents.
That was more than 2 cents. Y'all hear from a younger man who was a newlywed. How he knew. You saw how quickly it progressed and they're happy. And so I believe, are there any more questions? Because we may wrap up. Okay, what's your question?
Testing, I'm telling you, she was on.
You ain't got no question. Sit yourself down.
You know he don't want you to get married.
I know.
He wants you to stay that sweet little baby from 7-8 years ago.
I'm not. No, my question is.
You're not. Hold on. You ain't the sweet little baby.
I am still sweet. Just not a little girl anymore.
Right.
Yeah, sorry.
Sit yourself.
No, but the question is, I have a question because I heard you using the word aggressive. Mm-hmm. And my thing is, as black women, and I'm not being racist, but black women, we are labeled as
when
aggressive.
When you say you're not being racist, you're about to be racist.
But you're right.
But we're always labeled as aggressive.
I tried to tell him not to do that.
And I want to ask the men, why is it that we're labeled as aggressive? And we may not be aggressive. We may just be assertive, or we may just not. I'm not going to stand for that. So why is it that we're labeled as, oh, you're too aggressive, or you're angry, or you're a mad black woman, or because of your past, you just got this guard up, or whatever it may. Why is it that men label us as that?
Well, I'm going to say this to you. Okay, I don't think aggressiveness is a bad thing. I don't view it as
what society does.
Let me address you. I got you. I understand that the reason being is because typically, societally speaking, it is seen more openly with African American women. Now we're finding more and more that women of other races are just as aggressive, not more aggressive, than African American women. I'm a firm believer of this, and it's really this simple. I don't believe in that so-called angry black woman thing. I don't adhere to that, and I explain to men this all the time. And when I say this, they shut up real fast, real quick. I said they don't come out the womb angry. So we have to ask ourselves, how did they get there? They're not angry. They didn't come out the womb angry. I ain't never seen a baby girl come out the womb angry. I got 5 granddaughters. They all came out the womb happy. Happy, smiles on their face. 6. That's right. I forget about it. Melania. I got 6 granddaughters. And they all happy babies. They happy now. Sometimes it bugs me because they don't take certain things seriously as it should be taken. If you chastise them, they start with a smile. I'll be like, quit smiling. You see what I'm saying? And so I don't believe that. I don't believe aggressiveness is bad in a woman. I believe aggressiveness or assertiveness or whatever you want to call it, it is a necessity in a marriage from time to time. It is a necessity in a relationship from time to time.
Calling a woman aggressive, a black woman aggressive, is to calling a black man a nigga instead of a negro. There's the derogatory connotation, and he may have nigga-ish moments. She may have aggressive moments. But if you describe her as that, you label her. We're pathetic people, and we have what we say. And so if you call her aggressive, then you get the manifestation of aggressive. And you're looking at it from, well, I don't view aggression as a bad thing, but society does. So when what you've spoken over her manifests, then the people in society at large have a negative perception of her character, and they don't get a chance to get to know her heart.
I don't want to formally apologize because I don't want nobody to feel insulted.
It's an insult.
I don't want nobody to feel insulted.
You wasn't so good at man, I would put up with none of it. Since you don't shut up.
But the bottom line is this: it's needed because sometimes we as men we're not aggressive enough in certain situations, and we need it. We need your assertiveness. We need your input. Say, baby, this ain't good. We need to address this. But the problem I think it is for a lot of men, and again, I said it earlier, when men come into a relationship with a woman, we want our place. And oftentimes that assertiveness is overextending itself into where a man doesn't see his place in your life. So again, you gotta find that balance to where a man says, I know my place in her life. I know where I'm supposed to be, and I know what I am to her and what I'm supposed to do. And really what men are really saying when they say that is, I want a space in your life, but I can't seem to find it because you're out front and you're trying to do it all. And I don't have that space. I don't have that place where I feel like I'm the man in your life. I don't feel like I have a role or I'm important to you.
I think,
She said she has a question.
Yes, I do. I have a question.
give her the microphone, please.
Everybody talking about getting married, and I haven't. Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't heard anyone say that I introduced my family to the man I'm going to get married, to the daddy. Did the daddy speak? When I got married, they had to come and talk to my father.
No, he did say that.
Yeah.
He said to use your family as a filter.
As a filter, yeah. But I mean, I'm speaking of the questions that was asked. I've never heard anybody say, well, then when you came to my father and asked, or my mom, or the family.
They ain't doing it no more.
Well, that's not the truth because Kenya absolutely had Bryce to come to us.
That's great.
And it
makes a difference.
It was important to her that we approved of, and not just him.
Yeah.
There were a few other guys who pursued her, and we were able to meet her. Anybody that she felt an attraction to, because as long as he was interested in her and she was not interested in him, we didn't meet him. We knew he existed,
sure,
but we didn't meet him. But when she developed an attraction towards him, she said, hey, this guy, blah, 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 and I want to meet him. Their first date was here at church. And so their first meeting, because she's very, very, very accountable, she says, why waste time falling in love with somebody who doesn't fit my assignment, who is not serious about my walk with God, who is not going to be able to adapt himself to what God has called me to, and bring something to the table that I must adapt to that is equally of value to God.
I tell all my girls that.
Yeah.
If you call the ministry, why are you dating somebody that don't feel like ministry is a part of his life?
Yeah.
You're supposed to, if you're called to ministry, you need to be finding somebody that is not going to be intimidated by your role in ministry. Because ministry, a woman in ministry is a very intimidating thing to men. And so you got to find a man that's going to be okay with that. If he ain't okay with that, you need to let homeboy go. I know he's dark and chocolatey. I know he got the muscles. I know he's sexy and the bald head is nice and gleaming.
Bald head is not sexy.
To you, Lynn, it's not sexy to you. All right. But I know he's nice and clean shaven and he smells so good and he dressed so nice. But if he can't support ministry, what you're called, it goes back to believing what you say you believe. If you believe God has called you to ministry, you got to find that person who will help undergird your ministry.
Hold on, here's a white coach in me. He doesn't have to already be preaching and teaching.
No,
you don't need him. He just has to be open to what God has called you to and understand it, right?
Right.
I remember when we talked to Bryce about this, I said, well, hey, I travel quite a bit. Kenya goes everywhere with me when I'm preaching. She don't go in the strip clubs and the whorehouses and whatnot, but anywhere in a preaching setting, she always goes with me. And I need to know if y'all get married, what's that going to look like? Do I need to be seeking somebody else to take her place? Because we believe that marriage comes before your ministry assignment. So if my armor bearer has to be replaced for you to gain a wife, I need to know that ahead of time so we can make a smooth transition and I don't view you as the person who took my daughter away from me or took my armor bearer away from me. And he says, I admire what she's doing in God. I would never interfere with that. So no, I have no intention of pulling her away from what she's doing. My goal is I'm here to support. And he has kept his word.
Sports.
He has. And from the time before they got married, he wanted to go with us. Now, y'all ain't gonna be sleeping in the same hotel room, but we ain't gonna, can a man take fire into his bosom and not be burned? I saw the squishiness in her when he was around her. I know her, right?
Got real squishy.
She got real squishy real fast. I like, tell you what. Nah, brother,
squishy.
I ain't know him well enough to know if he was, I knew she was, and he was like, I would never try her. I would never disrespect her. I said, son, I'm not worried about you doing anything. You are a virtuous woman, but you're also my daughter. And so what I did not want him to do, right? And so y'all have to be real about it.
Yeah.
If you are sexually attracted to the man and the sound of his voice turns you on, and when you smell him or when you're in the same room with him, you feel something swishy going on. Wisdom says, do not give place to the devil. Some of you all need to stop with your midnight meetings and coming and serving in church and then going home. What you doing?
What you doing?
Trying to figure out how I can do you.
What you doing?
You about to be lurched.
What you doing?
You really about to be lurched. You gotta cut all communication with folk that make you squishy when you're trying to be living the life of celibacy if they're not progressing towards marriage. When they say, well, let's just court and let me get to know you, let me just see how it goes. A man that's looking for a wife does not mix his words. If you ain't ready to get married, I'm looking for a wife. Bryce came in his door. I said, you want to date her? What's your plan to date? He said, no, my desire is to be married. I want to be married. I've dated enough. A man that's ready to be married, he says it. There's no mixing word. He's not, but let's just see where it goes. You're going to end up with your feet to Jesus, Netflix and chills. And I said chills on purpose. He's going to give you chills. Those are the ones that give you chills and thrills. Big ministry. They're anointed for it.
Be leery of the man that says, let's see where it goes. Be leery of the man that says, let's see where it goes. What you need to do is see yourself go.
Because you need a leader who can lead you into where it must go for him to be inside the will of God.
Right. So no, it's really that simple.
Stop wasting time. Don't be. It's always the really fine ones. Okay.
Apostle McCoy got a question.
Okay, we'll come to your question.
She can wait.
I'm coming, Apostle. I'm coming. I don't want to lose my thought on this. The best ducklings are the ugly ducklings. Don't get caught up on the six-pack and the muscles. Get you a great big old ugly or whatever and go to the gym. People appreciate you. Fat men need love too. Ugly men need love too. Stackers men need love too. Huh? Would y'all believe that I thought he was ugly when I met him? I was not attracted to him. I was like, I'm not attracted to you. You look like a gnat. Sir, you're not my type. Get the hell off, please. Just no. I didn't think you're good looking now. I cut somebody about it. But I'm trying to tell you, get you the one that you think is ugly, the one that think you too cute to be with them, and they view you as the prize, they will always work to keep you happy. But they find when he ain't got to work, because there's always some silly girl with low self-esteem working to keep him happy. Why should I work and go through this with you? I don't have to. Come on, please, Apostle. I don't want to lose my focus, but I definitely want to hear your question.
Amen.
She was sitting over there, brother.
Hallelujah.
She told me she had some freshness today. Okay.
Hallelujah. No, I don't. I'm calmed down now.
You calm down. You good.
Yes. But I do have a question, comment. I heard my father was, and the type of man he was. I also grew up in a home where I had a father. My father was a man that my question was exactly like hers, that was respecting my mom and stuff, and he took care of his family. So I don't have those daddy-daughter issues, when I thank God for. But my question is, I haven't heard anybody address this right here. Being married and then after 20-something years, and then now being a widower, and looking at dating from the prospect of being a widower. My husband has 7 years now. And looking at the prospect of dating from being a widow and standards, the standards. And I hear everybody, but from a perspective of being a widow, the standards to me are somewhat different. And especially for me, being raised and knowing what it looks like for a man to be a man taking care of the home and all of that, then being married to a man that did the same thing. So now we come into this place where now men, to me, today, I'm just gonna say it like this: where the good men at? Where I'm the good man.
Come on now.
Here I am. And then I heard you always talk about independent women, being independent and dependent and stuff. So I've been, I just said an independent woman for all these years, right? And so this dating thing out here. So here come the man.
Right.
My thing is that I don't, can I just say it like I want to say it? Bishop looking at me from the side. Bishop look at me straight. Looking at me from the side.
Say it like you gotta say it.
So I gotta say it like I gotta say it. So
I can say from your gut. Say it from your gut. She riding with you.
I'm trying to be real.
You the apostle, come on.
No, I don't want to get too hood, but I'm gonna just gonna say like it is. So here you are, and here they come.
Oh Lord.
She got an amen. Bishop, let's
Preacher. Listen, I'm gonna say this because, like I said, when they approach me, my first question is, what?
Oh, okay. You ain't wrong for that.
That's the first question.
Come on.
And then when they find out that a man find out, and I heard what you said, I get it, that you need them, but you don't need them. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not trying to assert authority. I'm not trying to be no man. Because I'm cute, and I'm beautiful, and I'm wonderful and fearfully made. And I know who I am. I'm not trying to be masculine and husky and all of that stuff right there. Joker, if you want to come on.
Come on, well,
You know what I'm saying? I feel like I need to stand up, but I ain't gonna stand up. I'm like, come on now. Because when you come, you better come bringing it. Because it's not about you bringing something to me and taking care of me, because I value who I am. And I take this care of me and Jesus and I. You know what I mean? I had standards. So I'm not gonna lower my standard. That's just out the door right there, because I don't need you to buy me no Gucci Fucci or whatever.
okay.
My own stuff. Spiritually, I'm good. I check with the Lord and we all right. So why is it that a lot of men are intimidated by a woman? I would think that you would come see. I heard what you said about a woman that's independent and got her own stuff and stuff. And I don't brag on that. I try not to, when I'm meeting people, drive the Mercedes, because they get intimidated. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So, and if I get in, wait a minute. And if I get in an F-150, they think I'm a man.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's just what it is. So what do I need to get in? So, no, I ain't getting a putt back honey for nobody. Ain't gonna standing like that. This is it right here. So I don't try to go out and just. And you listen to me, Apostle Carlos. You looking at him, and he looking at the phone, typing in the question. But anyway.
He's trying to make sure he gets everything down so we can address it line by line. He said, here a little, there a little.
I know. He's looking at scripture. I know he gonna come with it. But anyway, the question is, I'm not saying all men, but a lot of men, when they meet a woman such as myself, they get intimidated. I don't try to go out and intimidate nobody. You know, I carry myself like a lady, right? And I'm not really looking for, them to take care of me, because I take care of myself. You know, I let them go down a little bit, because just a little tad bit, because just a little bit, not much, just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because if I want a 10-carat diamond, I'm going to buy me a 10-carat diamond. You know what I'm saying? But I don't put the bishop there looking at me from the side with Jesus Christ. But I have been endowed to be blessed by God. You see what I'm saying? So my question, I said all that to say, this is my question. Why are most men intimidated by women that have? I would think they would say, oh my God, that's good. You know what I'm saying? You out there doing your thing, you know? You out there doing your thing, you running your own business, you doing your thing. But they come back, and they so scared. But they come back, and they scared and intimidated. I'm not trying to scare you.
All right.
Then I ain't finished. Hold on. If I stand up, it's gonna be over. I ain't gonna stand up. I'm not trying to be intimidated, right?
Sure.
And so I try to meet them out of love, and then I don't want to bring them to my house, because I know they really gonna get intimidated then, right? And so my question to you is, what you do with them? Then they think, no, hold on, I ain't finished yet. Hold on, wait, don't get them out yet. Don't get them out yet. Then when you bring them to your house, you know what they say? This where you live with? Well, where am I supposed to live? Yes. Oh, that's your car? What am I supposed to do? Lie and say no? Because the minute, hold on. Because the minute you say yes, you see that they get that crazy look on their face. I said, oh, here it goes, guys, right here. Yeah, they get a crazy look on their face. Like, I don't want to have anything. And I'm talking about in the pulpit, out the pulpit, under the pulpit, everywhere. On the side, too. So my question to you is, why they get intimidated?
Why 98% of men
Why did they get it to me? Wait, hold on. And then, hold on, wait, one more question. Then you talk about the filter. You asked Mother about the filter thing. I have people filter. They like, oh yeah, that's good. He good for you. I'm like, okay, I did all that. I did everything. I checked my list like you said. I did all that. And then they still, oh, Bishop, right, about 5 questions, Jesus. I did all that, right? And these should be men that should be secure in themselves, right? I'm secure in themselves. Woo, thank you. They should be secure in themselves.
They got drama.
Yeah. I don't deal with mama drama people. Oh, you talking about mama drama like mama? Yeah, yes. And wait, hold on. Since she brought it up, and the mama drama that too.
I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. I think I'm finished now. And then, wait, one more question. This is the last one. And then, you know my daughter, right? Right? She go through the same thing. Not because, I mean, she cool. Right? She cool. She bring them to me. And I say, that joke ain't for you. No, he got shit down. She do that too, So, and she asked me the same question. Wait, that Pastor, you do angel. She asked me the same question. So I said, I can't wait till I get to this panel to ask two wise men that question right there. I'm finished now. You can't get my They might ask me a question.
I'm gonna give Bishop some time. I know he got the nuclear bomb for you, but I'm gonna give you some time. I'm gonna say this. A lot of times, women who have their stuff together, have their stuff sold together, that there can't be no coming together.
Wow. Come on.
That's good.
Your stuff is sold together that there's no room for me to come in to be anything to you. See, remember earlier I told you. Hold on. No, you can't. That's what. Stop. No. Just if you listen with the right heart, be in the right mind, you understand where I'm going. Men automatically come into a situation or a relationship wondering, where do I fit? I've said that through this whole time. A man wants to know where he's going to fit. And if he comes into your life and you got it all laid out, you got your own house, you got your own car, you got this, you got that, you're confident, you're this, you're that. The man starts to say in himself, dude, where do I fit in this? What can I bring to her table to enhance her life? Again, a real man ain't about what you just bring to his life. He wants to bring something to yours as well. And if we can't seem to find where we fit in that, it's going to be intimidating to us. It's bad enough that you super fine and you sexy, you got it all together enough that we're intimidated by that alone. By the time a man approaches you, I guarantee you he's watched you for at least 3 or 4 months. Because he's trying to figure out a way to come to you. Because you got it together, you're beautiful, you got your money right, you got your house right, you got your hair right, you got your feet right, and everything is right. And so now he's looking at himself, can I stand up? Can I measure up? And it's not about insecurity. It's about making sure that when we come into this relationship, that you and I are in a place where we can work together as a team. But if you are the team, what am I? I'm men. Hope no. In your mind, that's what you think. But in the mind of a man, men are naturally inclined to want to put his hand to something. He is naturally inclined. God made. Go back to the look in the book. Look in the book of Genesis. God gave us 5 instructions. Every man has a purpose. He told us that we are to be productive. He told us that we are to excuse me, help me out.
Multiply.
Be fruitful. Fruitful has nothing to do with having babies. Fruitfulness has everything to do with productivity. That was the first commandment God gave to a man, was for him to be productive. So the first thing a man's going to look is like, where can I be productive? Can I be productive? Is there room for me to be productive in her life? Be fruitful, multiply. That's where the kids come into play. Then we're supposed to subdue. Then we're supposed to, we're supposed to replenish, subdue, and then have dominion. That is the 5-fold purpose of a man. And so we go into a relationship with a woman, especially with a woman who has it all together. We're trying to figure out, where can we do those 5 things in your life? Can we? Is there room for us to do those 5 things in your life? You got it solid, and we love that about you. But the goal you have to do is show the man, hey, this is where you fit. This is where you fit in my life. Sometimes you got to help us to see it, because it's so overwhelming that you got the Mercedes, you got the house, you can buy your own diamond ring, you look like $1 million, smell like $1 million, dress like $1 million, probably got $1 million in the bank. So you got to help us sometimes see where we fit in all this. And that's the problem. It's the intimidation is we don't see it. We can't see it. And so now our desire, I'm about to let him have it. Now my goal is say, hey, I want to be with you. I want to be with you. But where do I fit in your life? Where will I be in your world?
That bishop is going
One thing I'm going to tell you, when you got it all together, is this. Your altitude is what intimidates them. Your altitude. Because when you a 747 and you used to flying at 39,000 feet, you connect yourself with a crop duster who can only fly at 1,000 or 10,000 feet in the air. You taking them to a place where they don't have the capacity to stay. Their engines aren't built to fly where you are. And so what you have to do as a woman of God is to leave that joker at the altitude where he can survive and connect with those who are where you are and going where you're going to. The problem is, what weigh us down is we connecting with folk who don't have what it takes to survive where we are. I can't give you what I don't have. And we're trying to make this crop duster push out more than he has the capacity to push out. And that's what's frustrating us. That's what makes you mad and makes you ready to quit, is because you're trying to pull something out of them that they do not have. They can't give you, can't pull blood out of a turnip. They can't give you what they don't have. So what you have to do is leave them where they are and go find somebody who will.
I have a question, Bishop.
Go ahead.
You gotta find you.
Why you itching?
You gotta
You
find
know
you.
why I'm itching. There's something me and Bishop know about you. Okay, so what you said was good. It was deep. It was profound. And woo, it hit my spirit. Okay, so where you find these people at? Because I'm gonna stand up. I'm not her. I'm gonna stand up. So, because Apostle McCoy is flying at a higher altitude. I think that's the word you are. Than I am, but I'm not too much below her altitude. And both of us looking at each other like, okay, well, where do we fly? Where's the airport at? That's gonna take them that high, so that we don't have to keep being around these dust muffins or whatever you call them. Okay, so yeah, where them at? Because when we come to the church, there dust at the church. Crop dusters at the church, and then when we go to Walmart, they're there. That's where they're at. The crop dusters. So we're just trying to see where the jets go. You know where the jets are. So that's where we can get up there. Where they're at.
The 747. Right on the 747. Hold on. I got one more question. I heard everything Bishop said. I had to stand up now. I heard everything Bishop said. I heard everything you said about the altitude and all that, sir. So, sir, you know, they flying high, but they still not high enough. Well, if I go any higher, I'll be on the moon. So where I gotta go? Out the earth to fly up? That's what he said, girl. I'm trying to out there.
Okay,
You even mentioned the moon, Apostle. When God has called you to go out to the space, now you in a rocket, and you don't want to be there. You don't want to be in no rocket. You didn't say, Lord, put me in a rocket. No. I think if the whole thing is we was on the airplane, we on the rocket, they on the airplane. So we got to take canal, girl.
all right. So listen. I feel your pain. And you know what? It's you guys have valid issues and concerns. Part of your problem is the society you live in. That's part of your problem, is the society that you live in. The society that you live in don't have the standards for us men that you have, unfortunately.
Okay, can I just,
Let me finish.
because I've recently interviewed men over 60 for this reason.
All right. So I want to say this to you, okay, ladies. The standard, sometimes your standard is high, but the question is your standard too high? Is it unrealistic? And let me say this to you, because I'm noticing the chatter now amongst young women specifically, is the man has to have 6 figures. I'm just saying that is sit down. I heard you, hear me. I hear the chatter. There's a lot of chatter out there, especially amongst young women, that he's got to have 6 figures. And here's the thing. Statistically, I'm only, the reason why I'm bringing this up is so I can help you understand where, how sometimes we can have, even as men, we have standards that are too high to the point that they are unrealistic. Okay? So you hear a lot of these young women, specifically young women, saying, I want to have a 6-figure man. Fine, great. So does the rest of the women in the world.
Right.
They all want to have a 6-figure man. The problem is you got a whole bunch of women wanting the top 1 to 5% in the world. You got, so out of 1 million men, 1 to 5% of them earn 6 figures. So let's do this. Let's do the math. my calculator. 5% of a million, Lynn,
Oh, 5% of 1 million
of 1 million.
is 50,000.
So you got a whole bunch of women wanting to be with 50,000 men. Just using that pool size. I want you to see how unrealistic we can be sometimes in our standards. I don't want you to lower your standards. I want you to do an assessment of your standards and make sure that your standards are not too high to where a man cannot approach them. Y'all understand? Be who you are. Do what you do. But just make sure that your standards are realistic enough that a man can meet them. Because if they're not, now we have to ask ourselves, what are the standards that we need to have?
I have a question.
Before you go to that question, y'all two, 20 minutes. Tag team, back again. This is not gonna sound or feel good, but it's 100% the truth. I purposely reached out to a couple of men over the age of 60 and said, listen, what do y'all know I'm into this matchmaking thing? I'm trying to man the better, but I found out some unfavorable news. The men who are over 60 both live the same thing. Well, I'm old school. But nowadays, the women in my age group got more money than I got, bigger house, bigger car, and a bigger penis. I don't want to have to compete.
Right.
I need a woman that knows she needs me so she can respect me as a man. He said these women nowadays, if they're under 45, they need you to pay for their stuff. If they're over 45, they, and got something, they want to be able to tell you to get out. So they don't want to submit to your authority. They are not pliable. They are not moldable. They're certainly not submissive. And he said in my age, when I was young, my member ruled. And so I could use that. But now I'm older. I'm not as strong now there as I am up here. I have to have a woman that wants companionship who can accept my inadequacies. He said the women over 60 will shoot you down in a minute. He said I've never been crushed by a woman. He said last woman he's with you, 62. They were dating. They got to know each other. He wanted to marry her. He wanted to marry her. And he said that they were lounging and canoodling. That's what the word he used. And she felt his private parts and made a comment or a reference. And he said, I thought you wanted to wait until after we were married, but I just need to know it's working. So what if it doesn't? She said, then this relationship is over. And he said that damaged him because he thought she was a woman of more sex. That was the first one.
I'm going to say that.
Sexual pleasure is important, but the relationship
Let me help you.
should not be a deal breaker. In your 60s.
Men are as equally sensitive as you guys are sexually.
That's all I wanted to mention.
And so certain comments and statements that you guys make about a man sexually
Castrating.
will turn him smooth off. Because we have enough in our minds trying to be as men that we don't tell you about. We wrestle with thoughts daily that we don't tell you about. We don't let you know what we're thinking. We don't let you know, is she satisfied? Am I doing the right thing? All of that runs in the back of our head. Is she looking at that man on TV and wondering what it's going to be like? Or am I still the flavor of the month? Those are things we wrestle with because we want to be everything to you.
I need you to know the second one. Now, he came with it. He said, she's over 60, I won't date a woman that's over 40. I said, what? He said, I do not date women over age 40. I said, I thought you said you were in your 60s. I'm 64. I said, what can a 64-year-old man do with a 40-year-old woman? He said, have peace, be happy, be appreciated, be respected. What's wrong? I need you to elaborate and expound. He said a 40-year-old woman has probably got some teenage kids somewhere, and you come in and you buy some sneakers and she got gratitude, and you help her pay the light bill, she's appreciative. If she doesn't have a car, you can put her in a Toyota Corolla and she will think you're the best thing since red beans and rice. A 60-year-old woman, you cannot buy her a Toyota Corolla. She will cuss you out. He said a 40-year-old woman is not jaded and she doesn't have unrealistic expectations. Some 60-year-old women, they grew up with the daddy chopping wood and doing whatever he had to do to take care of the family. And mama stayed home and cooked and all the bills were paid by daddy. And a 60-year-old woman, she's looking for you to pay everything for and mammy peppy and bow down to her and be spineless and jelly bag because she got everything. And I was like, this is how the men think about these women. And so I want you guys, I'm telling you this, as a wife coach, my job is very difficult when I don't even coach women over 50 anymore. They book through my website, I send the money back because their minds are made, your mind is made, you're going to die alone, ma'am. Your mind is made up that your way is the right way. Your mind is made up that having your house and your money in your car and whatever has made you stable. That is actually because the enemy has tricked you into believing you don't need a man. And so you've conditioned your life to live without the presence or the influence of a man in your house every day. You don't know how to humble yourself and submit, and it's not because you're arrogant. It's because you're out of practice. And let me hit you with the highlights. The men that have the millions of dollars and make the six figures, they're not checking for chicks over 50. Right. They're not checking for fat rolls, wrinkles, and gray hair. They're not checking for attitude and menopause. They're not checking for saggy boobs that the nipple sparks shoot when they hit the ground. Humble is the way. Just in case anybody in here was drawn to me, if you over 50, get the hell on, Felicia. I will not be your wife coach. It is too difficult because the women who are over 50 who have the recent, my apostle, got everything, house beautiful. She got a fleet of cars, she is not lying. You pull up to her house, you gotta find somewhere. There's not enough garages or anything because there's cars everywhere.
Right. I mean, she's awesome.
And I said, she's awesome alone. Yeah. I want her to be awesome in a marriage with a man who can have rule over those things. You got it, but will you yield rule of those things over to your king?
I'm speaking for me. Because that's what I said. I said for me, I said I'm not trying to upset over no man. If he comes in, I have those things. I'm not saying that he can't come in and have rule over those things. You gonna be the man? Come on, be the man all the way.
Well, be the man.
You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't matter to me about the things that I have. And I heard y'all say make room. Where is it that he can make room in my life for me? I show them this is where you have room at. That stuff don't matter to me.
You don't count. I'm not. You don't count.
But you gotta understand that men view stuff as
I get it. I get
love.
what you're saying.
We view the stuff as our ability to show you love.
Your issue is you intimidating. It's not that you will yield the stuff over. You're intimidating. I'm talking about these women who won't even yield the stuff over.
So easily intimidated.
Look at how she presents herself.
Okay. Me and her, two different people. They came up to me talking
y'all got the same presentation. She just got more money than you. Sit down.
But I think that she presents herself in a humble way. I think it's just the mindset of a man.
She's intimidating.
Right, but I'm saying that's something that a man has to learn to overcome, that intimidation. I don't think that has anything to do with the woman. A man has to learn how to overcome that intimidation. No. Because if she's saying, hey, this is me, and inviting them in, but they're afraid to take the leap of faith.
There is no invitation in.
Stop. Let me help you. How do you know your husband loves you?
That's good.
I know that he loves me.
How?
That's why I married you.
Because he shows me that.
How? You said, wait a minute, he shows you. How does he show it?
Through what he does, through
what he does.
And what he says.
But does he have to show you something for you to know that he loves you?
I mean, that's how you know that a person loves you.
Ah.
okay, I'm there.
Hold on, let the man speak.
Whoa, I I need you to hear this, and I need you to hear this good. I need you to listen to me, and I'm gonna drop it on you biblically.
Okay.
I'm gonna drop it on you biblically. What did God give man? An assignment.
Oh, yes.
What did God give you when He gave you to us?
Gave me a responsibility to be a helpmate.
There you go.
To be suitable for that
So we have no capacity to really be emotional. It's not in us. That's why Paul said in Ephesians chapter 5, husbands, love
your wives. You have to be taught.
We have to learn how to love you. Y'all come naturally with that. So when you inviting us in, a man ain't looking at the emotional. He's looking at what can I do to contribute positionally, materially, because God has already naturally conditioned and wired us to contribute on a natural basis. It's no other way. It's no other way. We have to learn to let our emotions show. We have to be taught, right? Because when we were little kids coming up, we fall down and scrape our knees. What did you say? Oh, get up. Be a man about it. Rub some dirt on it.
No, they really used to.
But when you fell down and scraped your knee, what happened? Oh, you were embraced. You were loved. Showered. We are conditioned to provide. We're conditioned to give. We're conditioned to give and provide. Listen to this now. You don't have. Chris Rock said it best. I'll say it the way he said it. Chris Rock said it the best. As long as a man is producing something, he's loved. As long as a man is producing something, he is appreciated. But a woman don't have to produce anything to get love or be appreciated. You don't have to produce a thing. You don't.
I want to circle back to Apostle McCoy for time's sake. Apostle McCoy, let's be very, very clear. I already know your heart and your character more than anybody in this room. You don't fall into the category of women who will not submit to a man or who will not let him have rule or dominion over possessions. You are intimidating and you will not change and shift your posture. I'm going to release this because you're not the only one in this room that I believe will shift some things. Because when they come, your thing is he better come with it. Yeah. That is intimidating. Your standard does not have to shift, but your approach and your style of communication must, because men go where they are welcome. You do not extend an invitation. Your posture does not say, I'm available, I'm open, come and get to know me. Your posture says, if you come over here, you better come with it. And so,
you better have it out.
So, be ready. So let me give this example to everyone by using you. Shift. So instead of you better come with it.
I don't physically do all of that.
I'm telling you, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. It doesn't have to be this. Men know. You're wanting to know why they're intimidated, right?
The mouth speaketh.
I'm telling you, I have never had a problem attracting a man. I've never had a problem attracting a quality man. The last 3, 4, 5 men that I've been with were very much like him. Very similar in countenance and demeanor. I know, right? I know how to attract a man. Listen to me. I'm talking about a quality man. You got the goods. They look at you and say, she got it going on. 60 what? Where? Body type, face popping, your stuff together. They look at you and tell them how to come in and pay your stuff for you. However, change your approach. So when men look your way, your first thing you do, he won't. Instead of doing that, hi. I was wondering how long it's going to take you to come over here and ask for my I know. I'm telling you though. It works because once you take the wall down, because he's already intimidated by looking at you. But then if he musters up the courage to even say hi, and you make it very easy for him to continue to get to know you, his courage is built up, and he'll put more. And so instead of saying, well, you better come with it, why not say, the Lord has really blessed me. Wait. Instead of presenting that, when y'all talk, and he said, what kind of man are you interested in? I'm interested in a king. The Lord has blessed me. I'm a queen. I got a palace. I got a queendom. I just king to help rule me, help me rule and have dominion over all this. Because that says you will submit, you will yield it over, you are open to leadership. And he's like, I need this on my team. She's resourceful. So the perspective and the perception of your character is formed in those first interactions. Men, y'all concur?
What you say, Bishop?
He said he concurred. He said Iba. Like she's saying it. Here's the last thing, the very last thing. I agree with you on not taking them to your house. Because once they see your house, men think like this, how can I maintain all this? So, hold on. Just hold on. You listening? You open? Thank God. So don't take them to the house just yet. Go see what they're working with first, right? And we already know no matter where he at, unless he Bill Gates, he ain't gonna be working with what you're working with, right? So have a plan already. So have you ever thought about investment properties? Because that's something I want to do. So you got a plan for his little bitty house when y'all get married. Y'all gonna rent that out.
If he have a house.
Most men, she don't like young boys. So most men in her age group have a house. Okay, we're not talking about men in the 30s. We're talking about men in her age group. I'm sorry, y'all. This is my mama, and so I'm just taking these few minutes because I'm ready for my daddy. My daughter time gonna come. So listen. You listening? Don't take him to the house. Don't let him see the fleet of cars. Don't let him see whatever car you meet him in. You drive that same car every time you see him. So y'all get to know each other, right? Talk a lot about investment properties. Talk a lot because most men don't have your business acumen. Black men anyway. And so, don't take them to none of your businesses. Don't take them to them plazas. Don't do none of that.
Talk about his vision.
Just talk about his vision. Just talk about what he's got going on. See how you can merge it together. But you gotta accept, most men are not in your tax bracket. Most black men don't have all the stuff that you have. It's not realistic to even look for or expect that. You're gonna upgrade whoever God puts you with, right? Automatically. So now, just look at ways to make it easy for him to not be demasculated, for him to be like, everything. He started driving what I was driving, living where I was living. Everything transitioned over to me. But I didn't say, that's their apartment. But I felt that when I saw it, I was like, what the hell is going on in Kansas? You have a little spiral staircase. What is this? And a little loft, not even a whole bedroom up there. What is this?
Talking about the bachelor.
Yeah, but I didn't do that. I was like, oh, okay, this you? Okay.
She messed around and asked me what do I have saved up. I said, well, I got about $400,000 in Walmart stock. See, because most women don't understand. Men, the normal men, we're not big on where we live.
Right.
We're not. We're just not. We're not.
It was so minimal in that apartment. Have it. I know you think if he in his 60s, y'all to have it all together. He can't without you. He can't because he doesn't have his helper yet. That's where you come in.
Well, I don't have a question. I just need to, because the last relationship I was just in, I brought him to my house.
Give her the microphone, please.
You told us to give you the microphone.
Oh yeah, you two. Y'all can't get it. She can.
Why we microphone being? Y'all just see that you're a screenshot.
Right.
The last relationship I was just in, he had an apartment and I brought him to my house.
Mistake.
And he didn't come in. It wasn't like he, went through every part of the house, but we had to pick up something. He didn't have a car. That was the issue. I had a car. He didn't have a car. So he felt as if he didn't have anything to value or to bring to the table for me and my kids. and he had a child. And like as we talked about the situation, and I told him, hey, I don't, money is not a thing because, I can go work for my money. But he felt as if, like once he seen the house, he felt as if he couldn't bring anything more. He felt like I had everything together. And even after talking about it, right. But even after talking about it and getting it together or letting him know, he just felt as if he didn't have anything to value. So that is the truth.
Okay, give me the microphone. Thank you for adding that because she just confirmed. Do not give her the microphone. You just confirmed what I was saying. Ladies, if you live in a nice neighborhood, we live in a nice neighborhood. Her neighborhood is nicer than ours. Everything is brick. When you see stone, when 7-Eleven is stone.
It's Keller, you guys. Keller.
It's the rich part, the multi-million-dollar part of Keller is where she lives. So when you're riding through there and you see that, you automatically know as a man, I wonder how much it's going to cost to be over here. You know what I'm saying? Our HOA fees only a couple $100 a month. The HOA fees where she's at like $500-600. That ain't got nothing to do with the other stuff.
My kids say they look forward to eating school at lunch. The school lunch is right there.
Because it's a wealthy place. And so watch this. Do not bring them to your house. That's what I know we want to independent women. Show him we popping and all of that. All you doing is fortifying the intimidation. Don't do it. Free coaching tip.
Okay, my question is, if you
hold on. I'm going to get to your question, I promise. I know it seems like I'm shutting you down. You and your grandmama over there done took over 20 minutes. We're supposed to start at 4:30. We're going to wrap this up and start our next session at 5. We have to. The preacher is here, and I don't like the people making me wait, and all of that other stuff. So I want you guys, the purpose for this setting is to get your questions answered, but we have to be respectful for the next move of God, right? So come on with your question.
Okay. All right. So you said with her, me and her are two different people. I'm in a different price range.
You're the same person on different ends of the spectrum.
Okay, so that means she said only that younger man, young whippersnapper. I'm assuming the young whippersnapper's for me. So if I need a younger whippersnapper man, I don't have what she has here. So he shouldn't be intimidated by stuff. Because you were saying the man that she will be for her would be intimidated by her stuff. If my neighborhood, you walk in my neighborhood, it's not like
your neighborhood is very nice.
Yes,
but it's not it's not what you were saying with her.
But your problem is that you got two issues. Okay, the first issue is you got kids. Okay, so that's
a bunch.
You got kids, so that's the first thing you're gonna kind of have to battle. But the second thing that you have is that you're looking for men. You're looking for a shark in a pond.
Where do I go?
Hold on. I need you to just listen. Okay. Your dating pool that you're looking into or you've been dwelling into is not so much a location, it's a type. Okay?
Here come the life coach.
And so your type, you like them young.
No, I've been dating older. I don't date 40.
Right. But you're dating 40 with You're dating 40 who have some of the same issues you have. Okay?
You're not dating 40 and 45.
That is 45. You're dating
40 and flighty.
Right. You're dating 40. You're dating 40 trying to be 30.
Yeah, how about?
I don't know the difference.
Here is.
I can't tell the difference.
Okay.
But you can tell the difference. But there is a such thing
Bishop, don't keep holding your mouth because you won't have to say something.
Because you gotta understand that if you're dating 40.
Everybody, they said Bishop up every year.
I ain't had my chance, but you see I'm mentioned. Go ahead, Dave.
You dated 40 who thinks he's 30 and 20.
Come on now.
And you need dating 40 who's 40.
Right.
Hold on.
Maturity level. And it shows with a man, his maturity level shows with his actions, with what he does.
Let me go a step further. Here's the wife coach. Instead of telling somebody that you got kids or anything about you, find out what his vision is and what he's looking for. Because there are men who don't have kids that want kids. And they would love to be a stepfather for somebody else's kids since they can have any of their own. They figure maybe they're sterile, whatever the reason is. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is men who've never had kids who want kids, when they see a woman with kids, they know she's fertile. So they know that they can plant their seed there and produce a harvest. You're attracted to that type of man specifically. Do not waste time if he doesn't fit that demographic. So instead of saying, I got 5 kids, what you gonna do, boo-boo? Now, I know you don't do that.
Why do me and her got the same tone then?
Because y'all have the same tone. So instead of telling him much about you, so tell me about yourself. I'm a payroll manager. I'm a woman of God. I like movies and action movies and whatever. What about you? You got any kids? No. You want kids? I do. You ever dated a woman that has kids? I have. Good. Would you do it again? Yeah, good, because I got a few. Do you see the segue? And if he says, no, I'm not interested, no, I don't want no kids, and she got kids, I'm not, you know what? It was nice meeting you, but I have kids. No, I just want to get to know you. No, bro, because we already established we're not on the same page. Amos 3:3, how can two walk together except they be agreed? And so now you filtered out. You're not falling in love. You're not getting in like. You're not getting a feel for his personality. You're not doing any of that. You have to learn to do those deal breakers, those pre-qualifiers relatively quickly in a non-threatening, non-intimidating, non-angry black woman way. Does that make sense? That's how you find them. You pretty, you fine, you got a big booty and a cute face. So they come to you anyway, right? So just filter.
Maybe my face is saying what possible.
Well, you haven't been given that extra little care that needs to happen when you got 5 kids yet. You got to compensate. You got to do a little more than the lady that doesn't have kids. You have to do a little more. She didn't have somebody pulling her, mommy.
Right. And let me inject right there real quick. Doing more, don't give too much.
Do what?
In doing more,
don't give.
When I say do more, I'm speaking specifically about your appearance. Let's just trade. If I were you and I was wanting to be chosen by a man, I would never leave my house not to go to the mailbox, not to go to my car to get some out of my car. I would never leave my house without at least looking to a 6 or 7. When I say 6 or 7, I mean lipstick, lip gloss, earrings, cute shoe, hair down. I would not ever, because your natural hair is really long and really pretty. One moment. Your natural hair is really pretty and long. Black men love it. They love the real stuff. And I'm telling you that's your kryptonite. You should never wear your hair in a ponytail. It should always be able to flow. Because they see what, the minute I've interviewed this and I see her walk into the car and I see the wind catch that hair and I know it's real hair and not weed.
That's what it is to us.
I'm trying to help you.
The heavens have come down on Lena, and the light shine behind the head like the angels above.
Right. Next thing, you got 5 kids and you got a little belly now. I will put on a waist trainer because you got hips, booty, and thighs. Men love the Coke bottle shape. You got it accented. Let that waist trainer go ahead and train you. Next, you have beautiful feet. You always wear closed toe shoes. You know how many women have ugly, busted feet? Your feet are beautiful. Your husband might have a toe fetish. He may be a toe sucker. Wear open toe shoes and keep your feet done. You have pretty hands. Okay, maybe this is not good for a coaching session.
Yeah, maybe
it's good. I want to help y'all because I really want the woman of God to preach. But I want y'all to get this stuff because it's simple. It's not rocket science. It's easy stuff. I've never struggled. I've never been single long term. Never in my life. I always have a quality man pursuing me. I've never had a man to break up with me. I've never had a man to quit me, ever. He the only one tried to leave me. I said, hell no, I can't do it, Billy. Come back here. You know what I mean?
She beat me back to my house. I didn't see her when she beat me back to the house.
Wait, the bishop got something to say after this.
Your bracelet, hold on. Bracelets. Because, see, I got fat wrists. But a woman that's got beautiful, slim wrists, men notice femininity. I would always wear a dainty bracelet. You have beautiful hands. I would keep my nails done. There are little things that you can do that can attract the men. Men become smitten. Y'all think it's the booty and the titties and the cootie. Men become smitten and infatuated without those things. It could be something so simple. The man that I was in love with before him, I'm not saying his name, but he fell in love with me because he saw that my real hair was long like yours. He said, I didn't even notice other things when I saw the wind kept blowing your hair.
Don't make it fall off. Don't make it fall off. You had enough of it over today.
Fall off. That's the real deal.
Oh, that's her real hair? Oh, okay.
My hair is longer than the real hair, and I have to pat it down.
The way it just lifted up.
The way it lifted up, it's like it was a
No. It's a ponytail.
Trust me.
But
that hair is longer than that. It's just that.
Bishop.
Okay, Bishop, she want to hear what you got to say as if what I said was inaccurate.
No, in addition to.
Okay, come on, Bishop.
You was very accurate.
In addition to. No, full play.
I'm going to tell you something, and then I'm going to drop the mic.
And he will. Just like that.
Don't drop it, Bishop. Don't get up and drop it.
Okay.
I'm lay it down.
Women of God who's looking for that man or that spiritual builder or whatever, I'm going to tell you this, is that you need to check the bait that's on your hook.
That's what I'm saying. That's good.
Because some of you got worms on your hook, and worms wiggle too much, and they attract the wrong type of fish.
That's good.
See, worms tend to attract those little masses of little crappies, and a crappie is not what you want. If you want the big fish, and those who know about fish, sometimes you need to put that what they call dough bait on your hook. That's where they put it out in the deep, and that's that made with strawberry pop and Wheaties. And Wheaties, y'all know that old cereal that says cereal for champion. If you want a champion, you got to put a champion bait on your hook.
That's good.
And you got to fish not in shallow water, but like Jesus told him, said stretch out into the deep, for the catch is in the deep. The problem is we're trying to find a champion in shallow water. You're only going to find the crappies in shallow water, but when you want a true champion, big catfish, you got to launch out into the deep, and you got to have the right bait that's on the hook to get what you need from the deep. The problem is we got a lure out there, but we got the wrong taste for what we want. Only big fish has a certain taste. You cannot give me Walmart steak. Come on, somebody. When I have a 3 forks, come on, somebody. A palate. Come on, somebody. When I got a Ruth Chris Spirit, come on. Help me up in here, somebody.
Listen, I'm going to say this, because as he was talking, I remember, as he was talking, the Lord brought, just that quick, brought back to my remembrance a video I saw on TikTok. This cat he was out on a dock, had his big old rod and reel and everything, and he put this big old fish, I mean, nice size fish right there, right that size, on the hook of that fish. He put that thing, he didn't cast it, he just dropped it. Right on the, off the edge of the dock. And he sat there for a minute, and something hit his line. And now he's got one of these big old sport fishing rod and reels now on the dock. Something hit his line, and the dude sat there for about an hour wrestling with what was on the other end of his. It was a big old 5-foot long grouper.
Wow.
It's a really big fish.
A big fish about the size of me.
It's a really big fish.
Came about to right here on me.
It's a really big fish.
That big.
And so when he finally pulled it up, you see this big old 5 foot long grouper just laying in the water sideways. And the guy who was filming him said, "Well, what do you have to say about that?" He said this: "In order for you to catch big fish, you need a big bait."
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Let me tell y'all this, and then we're gonna, I didn't forget your question. Then we're going to try to wrap this up. The whole purpose for what I'm saying to you is men are sight stimulated. They're not saying, "I knew her in the spirit first." Don't fall for it. I saw her, she looked good. I was like, "Jesus, is that me?"
I saw Apostle McCoy. She was dressed nice. She was looking really fine. And I had to come see
The carnal things do matter in the dating process when you're wanting to attract a specific type of fish. And the 6-figure men don't have to deal with excess weight. And the 6-figure men don't have to deal with attitude. And the 6-figure men don't have to deal with women who don't invest enough time to make sure she's looking good every day. Because he needs somebody that's going to compliment him in the arena that he's in.
I don't have to get this.
True. You had a question.
So he mentioned that don't
Give her the microphone, please.
He mentioned to not do too much. So in the dating phase, I heard you mention don't bring them to your house and so forth.
If you have a big, really nice house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
She said, yeah.
Go ahead, finish your question.
So where do you draw the line to where it's like, okay, I'm not doing too much? You want to be able to present and say, hey, I guess I'm wife material. This is what I desire.
Mm-hmm.
But how much is too far? Like, is cooking, is cleaning, is what is too far?
No, cooking is definitely a plus.
Let me put it to you like this. I'm gonna tell you a story. I was dating this girl. I was dating this girl, and it was her birthday. And I wanted to get her a gift, and I was living with my grandparents at the time, and I was going to buy her a shirt, and my grandmother said, "Why are you buying her a shirt?" I'm like, "Cause it's her birthday. I think she'll look good in this shirt." No, that is what she said. What she said was, "But y'all are dating. You don't buy a woman a shirt when you're dating. That's what a husband does for his wife."
Right. Really?
That's what she said. I didn't understand the logic behind it. But the ideal was that she didn't want me putting too much out there in the dating game when sending the wrong message when this may not be working anyway.
Right.
This may not come to fruition anyway. Are you really planning to marry this woman? Because if you are, then you need to go ahead and do it. Because if you're not, then don't give her that gift.
Okay, I think something closer to what you were reaching for would be this. Cooking, yes. It's always a plus. If you like him at all, cook for him. Sooner rather than later. As soon as you find out something he likes, that you cook well, that needs to be something you do, whether there's a date or not. You find out where he works, drop him off a plate. That's going to put you right in the top 10 automatically because the women in 2022 don't cook.
Come on.
Right from the start.
The second thing is,
Right from the start.
he said that microwave.
Top five. Top five. You be top five.
Okay. The second thing that you want to consider is what's too far for him. Because remember, you have to ask, you don't have my book, but I have a book out there, it's called Mending Marriage Mindsets. And it talks about, it gives the specifics, the deal breaker questions, the things you discuss right away, the conversations that you need to steer clear of when you're getting to know a man, where to go and what to do, where not to go and what not to do, what to wear, things like that. Sometimes we need that guidance and we need that direction so that we can have a filter or a guide, if you will, because the Bible does talk about dating, but it's not specific or in much detail. So I'll give you this, and then we got to wrap it up with Shirley Johnson, then we'll build.
Let's go.
Yes. Here is another thing. Once you get to know what it is that he likes about you, don't tell him what you like. He has to work to find out what you like.
Oh, that's
Ask
good.
him.
We want to work to find out what
That's
you
good. That's real good.
Let him invest the time getting to know you. Because you know your motive is right towards him. You know you're not going to be out here hoeing and throwing it from the free throw line and breaking his heart, right? But you don't know if he's the champion beef slinger, right? So wisdom says, let him take time. But what do you like? I like lots of things. But what are your hobbies? I enjoy going to the beach because there's not really many beaches around here. Tell them about the things that are far away. Tell them the truth, don't lie. But tell them the things that are not easily attainable here. So he has to work to find a way to meet you there right here. When men will work for us if we put what the job description is out there, then they don't have to do the work. But if you just tell them all it's going to take is this, all he's going to do is that. But if you don't put that job description out there, you just put the minimum requirement of standards. And he has to now, okay, what do I do next? You see Hansel and Gretel with those breadcrumbs? Married ladies, get you some food or some rose petals or something. I'm telling you, just try it. When you walk through the door, just do a little treasure hunt to the prize. Y'all had sex a million times. He gonna follow those, put a little note over here, put a little treasure hunt. He gonna follow that. What's next? They have a what's next mentality. They're conquerors by nature. Give them something to conquer. All right? Hopefully we answered everybody's questions. If we didn't, y'all have to come back next year. We do this every time the panel goes over. I purposely booked the speaker so that we would be forced to cut this off. So having said that, did these men bless y'all? Amen. Y'all gonna have to sow into the men now. Again, we're not taking an offering for our church. Give an offering to the men. And you don't have to, we don't have to do it in this setting. You can, he said give the bishop. What's your cash out, bishop? A Gaffney 1. AGAFFNEY, the number 1. So y'all see it into Bishop Gaffney if y'all got blessed in this setting. Amen. Amen. All right, y'all jump up on your feet real quick. Lord, we thank you for this setting. We pray, God, that you were pleased with the information that was shared. But more importantly, God, we pray that it was received. We pray, God, that those women who desire to be married and are not will leave this place equipped and armed with more information to help smooth that process out. Specifically the women who are up in age, God. And Father, for those who are married, who we didn't spend a lot of time on them this time, Father God, but I pray that they even got something as we were ministering to the singles in this almost this segment, but in this setting, in this life-altering moment. Now, God, as we prepare to receive from the woman of God, may charge this atmosphere so all she has to do is shift and move in the flow. Let our cups remain turned up, and let the people of God receive prosperous exhaustion, tiredness. Let them receive in Jesus' name. Amen. Listen, guys. Thank you. I need you guys to break this table down relatively quickly and get the podium. Where's Bryce? Okay, let's hurry up, please. Excuse me, girls. Listen, I know y'all want to chat. I need y'all. Cohen, I need y'all to come in. Everybody grab something off this table, please, so that we can move the table expeditiously back over to that corner. Amen. And then bring the podium up here. Daddy, can you move this table? Because Bryce, you need to move something out there. Like this. Yeah. Look at what's bad is I picked it out of there. You're just dropping it in there.
Go find another one of these trash bags so you can help.
One of them is down.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Really? Really? Grab this mic.
Sequoia, Carlos, somebody.
Huh?
Can you cut the recorder off, please?
Yeah. Just hit the live button. Live.